start. No, we don't have sound here. Okay, that's good. Q&A is live now. All right. Hello, everyone. We're gonna go for, about 2 hours or as long as we can. The two of the kids are awake. Guess which two win a prize. Yeah. We'll do our best. There might be a baby cake coming in here soon. We're just gonna play Stardew Valley because it's, super chill game, super chill, just chilling and hanging out. It'll be chill, bro. How is the sound compared to me and Lily, maybe? There's no music, unfortunately. Sound is good? Okay, cool. Alright. It should be toward the quiet side of things. So we're just going to relax and play some Stardew. This is a save file I started with some past Q&As. I haven't played it since the past Q&As, so I'm probably going to be a bit confused. It's not a super efficient run or anything, though, so don't expect it to be anything like that. It's just something on in the background while we talk and answer questions. And Lily's here if you want to say hello, Lily.
Hello. Good evening.
And maybe, if this goes okay, and I can get another USB cord to run through the wall, maybe next time we play Stardew, Lily will play with me. And we'll do multiplayer Stardew. Maybe. In fact, maybe tonight I'll just give the controller to Lily for a little bit. Maybe. I'm also open to the idea of buying a private server for Minecraft. If I looked into this a couple weeks ago, and Microsoft offers something called a friend realm or something that you and 10 people can go on, and that's it. 10 people seems super shitty low to me. Is there a different... I've never played Minecraft before. That's kind of a lie, but I've mostly haven't played Minecraft before, so if there's a private server system that is different than that one, that allows you to have... It's called Realms, yeah, that's it. If there's a different one that allows you to have much more people connected to it, even if it costs money, as long as it's not like $1 million, I have no problem, renting out a server and just keeping that on forever if there's a community that would use that, and we can use it for some Q&A streams now and then. I didn't change... Oh, you're right. Oh, no. Shit. Sorry, 1 second. That's a really bad night to do that because Death Stranding's so big and it looks like I'm trying to get viewers. Shit. Thank you for telling me. Stardew Valley. I didn't even change the title. Q&A with Lily. Hey. Hey has become kind of like just part of my vocabulary. It's weird. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Hey. Okay, did that update? Loyalty system. What the fuck are you talking about? No, it didn't update. What? Oh, no. No, it's there. It says Q&A with Lily, hey, Stardew Valley.
You're saying it did?
It did? Okay, why is it not updating on my second computer? Oh, now it has. Alright, that took a while. I even reloaded the page. Weird. Mass Effect Wiki, why is that open? Alright, let's go. feel like I forgot to do something on this page.
Yeah, this is the Q&A.
Looking randomly online, an active Minecraft server would cost more than that though, or sorry, looking randomly online, 48 player server is 12 a month. 48 is pretty good. I would like to hear from someone who plays Minecraft, who knows about those servers, and they can just like recommend me, like, hey, I'm very familiar with this, just go here, get this, this is fine, you know what I mean? I don't really have any time to do any research about it or anything like that or confirm. I just need a trusted source. It was a joke about Metal Gear, but it wasn't that great. Sorry, don't be sorry. I think I got it. I just wasn't sure, and I was so tired. I've had jokes fail to land way more often than that, Ralph Clogs. Don't worry about it. Okay, so this is the Q&A. So if you're unfamiliar with how the Q&As work, we have a Patreon and we have Twitch subs, and we allow Twitch subs to ask questions for the first time. This Q&A kind of over 6 or 7 streams. We usually host them one every weekend. Usually it's on Friday, but if it goes well tonight, maybe we'll switch over to Saturday. We'll see. We're not married to the Friday date. Are you? Like, we're not. Yeah, like we can switch over to a different one.
Every day is Friday for me.
Every day is Friday.
Every day is Monday for me. It doesn't matter.
Every day I wake up and it's Sunday. So we might be switching it over. Anyway, so you see a Patreon only feature, and if you pledged $3 or more, you got to ask 3 questions, but it was too many questions, like 3 in-depth questions. So we put it down to 2, and it became more manageable. And now we're just like throwing caution to the wind, and we're allowing Twitch subs to ask questions too. So if you are a Twitch sub, you get to ask some questions, but the current session is now closed. We are going to go through all the questions that we have, and then we are going to open it up again next time. There's 2 question limit for if you want in-depth answers, and you can ask as many yes or no questions as you like. And we will try and answer some questions from chat as we go. And obviously, if there's any bits that come in and ask a question, I will answer it. But I do that no matter what the stream is. So please don't feel like there's an incentive to give bits or anything. That's just part of the stream. I read out everything that comes in. So yeah, I think we're about halfway done of all the questions, and so I'm guessing there's gonna be like 3 more streams of this, maybe 4, and then we'll be opening the new session. It used to be monthly, but now we're just doing it once a week, and whenever we run out of questions, we're gonna open the new thing up. So that's the new format, and we'll see how it goes. These streams are very difficult for us to do, not because it's just late, but also because of the kids, and the kids often aren't good sleepers, so we might have a interruption at some point, or Kate might have to come in here and have some food, so they might stop at any time. So that's it. So we will we'll see how it goes. I don't know if you tried it, but the Valkyrie fights didn't give me God of War mode, and God of War New Games Plus are amazing. You should try it. Did they add new mechanics or anything, or is it just more difficulty? I haven't tried them. I haven't played New Game Plus in God of War. And just to repeat, because there's more people here now, this is not going to be serious Stardew Valley play. It's just on in the background. I am just dicking around in Stardew Valley. I'm probably going to do a lot of fishing. I don't even remember my skills. This is one that we started just for Q&As. Fisher, fighter, foraging. All right. Do we have like a chest to dump this shit in, or is it? These are our materials over here, aren't they? What are your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2? I don't have any thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2. Sorry, I only played it for 1 stream, and I thought it was interesting, and it's similar to Death Stranding in a lot of ways from what I saw, but yeah.
I like how your furnaces are lined up around the house there. They're not sticking out of the way. I'm always like, have to go around them.
Gotta be tidy. You gotta be tidy.
I'm not tidy. I'm sprawled.
You gotta be tidy. A tidy farm is a happy farm. Okay, do I have like seeds here? Okay, I'm gonna put an apple in there. Alright, let's just go do some fishing. And that'll be it. You should probably find shelter from the timefall. It'll break your farm equipment. Oh. How's the Witcher 3 project going? It's going. It's difficult. It's really difficult. But it's going. It'll be done soon. It'll be done in December or January, unless I have to take a break. If I have to take a break, then yeah. But it'll be done. And then that's it. I'm never doing anything like that ever again. I'm retiring from video projects that big. Never ever again. I was considering only doing video projects like that. Like that's it. But no. No, I'm never doing it again. I might consider doing a video project of that length if I could hire someone to help me, but they have to like live in, you know, like it has to be like an employee that is physically present and can be physically involved.
The chat is on unique chat mode, by the way. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Is it that you can't say the same thing more than once? I think it was on that mode because of spoilers for Death Stranding. What compelled you to undertake such a massive project like the Witcher video? It was a vote between doing a project on the Mass Effect series or the Witcher series, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. And it's turned into this big thing over time. How do I turn unique mode off? Are there any mods here that can do that? Because they might know how to do that instantly, and then we can turn it back on when we go into Death Stranding again tomorrow. I play Minecraft with friends, and the best situation for us is having one of us host it for free, but that requires an IP address to the person to be shared. Otherwise, going for third-party free services may be laggy, but they don't not work. If you want no lag, then you may pay. I don't mind paying. I really don't mind paying for a server. I don't think it's going to be stupidly expensive, right? In my head, it's like the lowest amount it's going to cost is like a WoW sub, and the most amount it's going to cost is like what, 50 USD a month? Like, I don't mind. Whoa, unique chat if. Okay, there you go. It's turned off, and we'll turn it back on next time. All right. Would we go with a mod pack for the Minecraft server? Minecraft is boring without mods. That's a really great question for someone who plays a lot of Minecraft. I don't even know what the mods do. No clue. What do you prefer between Persona 5 and Danganronpa 2? Probably Persona 5, but Danganronpa 2 in many ways is a hell of a lot more interesting. But as an overall package, probably Persona 5. It's really difficult for me to you know, overstate how interesting I find the concept of Danganronpa, especially in Danganronpa 1. Joe sounds like such a boomer in regards to Minecraft. Yep, sorry. If that's your case, willing to pay for a server, can't you buy a Minecraft realm? They're basically pre-made servers by Mojang. Is it Mojang or Mojang? We could do that, but they're limited to 11 people. You plus 10, I think. So that's kind of shit. That wouldn't be very many people. I'm hoping to get at least like 30 in, because I think that was about the amount of people that we had when we played multiplayer Factorio. So yeah, it's just a matter of size. What about a Terraria server? I don't think Terraria would be all that fun. Maybe. I don't know. I think the reason why I'm resistant to do that is because I really want to play Terraria expert mode by myself and experience that, or like solo. It could be with chat. We could stream it, but I feel like that's gonna take some of the mystique away from Terraria. I really enjoyed Terraria, and I'm looking forward to getting back into that for expert mode. I'm just absolutely stunned by how much I enjoyed Terraria. It was such a good time. Did Sekiro meet your expectations? Mostly yes. Yeah. I had a good time with Sekiro. But honestly, Devil May Cry 5 might be better. I mean, I played Devil May Cry 5 for 14 hours? 15 hours? I played Devil May Cry 5 for 14 hours. I played Sekiro for 83. So I've played Sekiro... You know what? That's not right. I have not played 83 hours of Sekiro. It's less than that. Say 70. There's no way I've played 83 hours of Sekiro. So I've played way more Sekiro than Devil May Cry 5. So I'm guessing if I put as much time into Devil May Cry 5 as in Sekiro, I might like Devil May Cry 5 more. Can I beat New God of War in 7 days? I'm basically an Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Easy. If you're a NEET, you should be able to beat it in 2. Can you guys hear the controller vibrating, by the way?
Okay, well, I'm going to go and get a baby.
Okay.
Because otherwise this formula is going to go bad and I'm going to have to dump the whole thing.
Okay, go get a baby, and you can read a question when you get back.
As soon as I dump it, she's going to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
We haven't started questions from the list yet because we were seeing if the baby would have to eat or not. As always. How many hours do I have in Terraria? Whatever I played on stream. I can't remember how many it is. 20 to 30, I think. Minecraft is great without mods. I disagree with Mod Lover. What's his name, Mod Lover? Don't answer if you have already, but I didn't watch today's stream. Is the game better or still meh? It's better, but it is still meh. So both, yeah. It's not too great, but it is getting better. I've never played Gary's Spawn, no. Hi, baby. How are you? Big smile. That's nice.
Are you able to reach that pillow behind me?
Yep.
Because I can't reach it.
Oh man, my chair just keeps getting creakier and creakier over time. Who's your favorite character from the Witcher books and why? No spoilers if past Baptism of Fire. Well, I can just tell you the name of it, even if it is past that, right? I don't really think of things in that way, but probably Regis. Probably. I think I'd go with Regis. Regis is pretty good. Regis is also no, I can't say that. I can't say that. Never mind. Okay, so let's get into it. Thank you before we get started to Idiot Savant and Keyar Sohn for when we or Keyar's one for subbing between the Death Stranding stream and the stream right now. Maybe you're still around. Thank you. Thank you, Master Hated, for the 2-month resub. Thank you very much. Wow, Death Stranding looking really good. Heard the game was a walking simulator, and I guess you walked a farm, so it makes sense. Yeah, sorry, we hadn't switched it over yet to Stardew. I hope it's permanently fixed now. Oh, man. Thank you very much. 2 months in the Cringe Cafe. Thank you, Nadja, for the 18-month resub with Kojima Lover 69. That might have been funnier than Yusuke Lover 69, but it would have only been for that one playthrough. Thank you, Nadja. 18 months in Pout Patrol. You get the Pout Patrol. Does Kate have a distinct personality yet? I have no clue how babies work. Kind of. There's like distinct between babies. You know? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't want her bottle now.
You don't want your bottle?
She cried for it and she doesn't want it now.
Aw. We'll see. We'll see. What's the most anticipated game for you currently? Probably Silksong or Will of the Wisps. Thank you, Ghosty Son, for 50 bits. Hi, Joe. Hi, Lily. Been playing Crosscode because of your thought of that game? Your thought of that game?
My thoughts?
Oh, okay. And I've been loving it. Thank you for that. Since you're playing a lot of roguelikes, have you considered playing Nuclear Throne? I've read quite a lot of good comments on that game, and it's free on the Epic Store this week. I already have it. I've played it a little bit. I didn't really like it. It felt kind of off. I think I read afterwards that it runs at 30 frames per second instead of 60, so it felt a little off to me, but maybe that's not true. And there was just, I felt like I could die way too fast. So it felt like the Gungeon Isaac equivalent of Spelunky to me. And I just not really a big fan of dying that quickly when it's also a roguelike, but I only played it for about an hour, so I'd probably like to try it again and see. Are you interested in The Last of Us Part 2? Yep, very interested, but it's not my most anticipated game. It's probably in the top 10. Thank you, MVP Tricked Out Horo. That's a cool name. Can't take that back. For subbing with Prime for the first time. Welcome to Prime Time. Welcome to the Secret Weeb Society. Is Twitch profitable compared to YouTube for you? Would you consider going full Twitch maybe? So I can't tell you exactly how much we make on each platform, but I can tell you that it used to be that Patreon was half of YouTube and Twitch was half of Patreon. But that's not really the case anymore, and all three of them are closer, not close, but closer to parity. Around equal, like, but in the very generous way of looking at it is equal, if that makes sense. So yeah, if I would go full-time Twitch, I'm pretty sure it would be fine. But I would overwhelmingly likely cancel the Patreon and just close the Patreon if I went full-time on Twitch. Or I would retool the Patreon, I think. But no, I like making the videos, so I don't think, even if it was more money, and it probably would be at this point, I enjoy making the videos too much to give them up. But going forward, it might be more of a 50-50 split in terms of time, whereas at the moment, right now it's a 90-10 split, with 90% of my time going to video making and 10% of it going to streaming, but except for this week, of course, because we're playing Death Stranding quite a bit. But in the past, I think it's been about 70-30, with 30% of my time going to streaming and 70% of my time going to video work. And as we go forward, it might turn into 50-50 split. After the Witcher video is done, I might just stream for a couple months and not do any video work as a vacation from it, because I don't know how I'm going to be when the Witcher video is done. But I don't know how I'm going to feel, and I don't know what's going to happen. So it might be a 50-50 split. I don't know. I'd like to poll the community at some point in the future and see. I'd probably poll them on Twitch, and I'd like to ask, how many of you prefer do you prefer the YouTube videos, or do you prefer the streams? It used to be a lot of people would get very, very angry at me for streaming, and I still feel that sometimes. I still feel like the hate, like, why are you streaming when you should be making videos? But at the beginning, there were a lot of people that were very vocal that they didn't like that I was streaming. And now I feel like it's switched for quite a few people, and there's a bunch of people that are like, I would prefer it if you streamed than the videos, because it's just way more content, It's a different kind of content, but yeah, so it's difficult. I feel like I'm serving like two masters, and Patreon just makes it kind of even worse, because it's kind of fuzzy. It's like there are people who've pledged on Patreon for the streams. So it's like, okay, well, how many of them are there? You know, like I always felt before whenever I was streaming that I was like letting the patrons down in a way because I wasn't doing like full on video work the whole time. But now I wonder like how many people I'm letting down when I'm not streaming because they pledged for the streams. I have a very unhealthy view of like letting people down when it comes to that sort of thing. And I tried to get away from it, but it's just who I am, unfortunately. You gonna be noisy today? Yeah. Oh, big. So many smiles. So many smiles. Not all of your YouTube watchers are on Twitch probably biased. Yeah, I want it to be biased though, because I want to see how many people on the stream watchers vote for the YouTube videos being their favorite. Because I have a feeling that it's going to be the YouTube videos are still going to win. But if it's like close to 50-50 or whatever, then then that still means that the YouTube videos are way in advance, you know? Like, it's only a small percentage. So polling the Twitch audience is a good way of seeing that, because it's only going to matter for the streams if the streams overwhelmingly win, you know what I mean? Twitter would probably be the best mix, the fairest mix. So we'll see. What a poll right now, just for funsies? I don't think so. Maybe. I guess we could do it for funsies, and then we'll start on the questions.
I think she's gonna go back.
She
doesn't want to eat.
If baby stops scratching me. It's new poll, right? New poll. What do you prefer, the streams or the YouTube videos? Streams, videos. I think that's it, right? Or is it poll new? I can never remember. It's poll new. You always fuck out. Yeah, I really do. You're right. Where did this go? Sorry to spam it, because then it's easy to click on. Actually, I don't need to do that on Q&A streams because chat doesn't move as quickly as it does in the other ones. Yeah. So far, it's about what I expected. Okay. USD 48 for a 300 max Minecraft server on a site I found. Are there any issues with Scalacube chat? 300? Holy crap. What if I like both? You have to pick one. You have to pick one. Finn does this all the time, doesn't he? What do you like more? Do you like strawberries more or grapes? Both of them.
Lily, I have been researching eye makeup for work. Could you ask Joe which he thinks is fake? Clear mascara, mechanical eyeliner, or eyeshadow?
Eyeshadow tattoos, right? That's what it says?
Oh, tattoos. Sorry, I didn't see the last
Which
part.
one's fake? Mechanical eyeliner. Honestly, all three of those sound real to me. But
I actually don't know the answer.
I'm gonna say
mechanical eyeliner.
I'm gonna say mechanical eyeliner. I'm not voting because I like both for different reasons. I feel like I can't say real preference. That's fair. Yeah, abstaining is fine.
Oh, really? They're all infected?
They're all real? Yeah. Pound on my chest. Donkey Kong.
Clear mascara would be cool, because then if you cry, you don't look like a raccoon.
Okay, let's move on to the first set of questions. I think we're going to start with Twitch today, and then we'll move over to Patreon. Last times we've been starting with Patreon and then moving to Twitch, but let's start over with Twitch. So, is the super secret, that's not so secret chat on Discord. And the first person on the list tonight, last person was Haltfire, who asked about Michael Crichton and what's the best donut you've ever consumed. And Death by Doom has asked an incredibly important question, a part of our stream heritage. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. That's what she said. All right, there we go. Go for it, Lilybell.
So, Death by Doom says, sorry if this has been asked or talked about before, but when was the first time you heard the Shih Tzu pun? Or did you make it yourself by chance?
So, in case you don't know what we're talking about, I went to the zoo the other day. It was terrible. They only had one animal. It was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu. So that's the Shih Tzu pun. Okay, so this has been a part of the stream for well over a year. The first time I ever heard it was from a friend in a World of Warcraft guild, and it's kind of funny that it's linked to another part. You know, another regular thing that's brought up on the stream. Well, not regular, but every so often. It was Weeaboo Bill. Weeaboo Bill was the first person who told me that joke, and I don't think he made it up. I think he said that he heard it somewhere. But he's a really funny guy, so he's capable of making something like that up. But I don't think he made that one up. I think he was told it. So yeah, it was it was the source is Weeaboo Bill.
So really, we should say thank you to Weeaboo Bill.
Thank you to Weeaboo Bill
for so much mileage out of one joke.
Yeah. Oh, we're dead. Oh no.
Has Finn taught you nothing?
Oh no. Oh wait. Okay.
Finn does that all the time.
It crashed.
And then he'll get mail and it'll say, you know, oh, we found you last night. And I'll have to read the mail. And he tries to hide it from me now when it's there. Because as soon as I start reading it to him, he realizes what it is. And that the money that I got him, the gold, is gone because he passed out again last night and lost some of it. So I literally just make him money for him to either eat or drink at Gus's. He goes and orders food.
You guys see this is the game that Finn plays, Lily, Spooky Farm. We made this the other night when he couldn't sleep. We only played 2 days. He insisted on making Lily.
Yeah.
On Spooky Farm, but we're not going to play Finn's save file. We're going to play Weeaboo.
Mine's the one we play together is Lily too.
Lily's the redhead. No, she's not. But he wanted red hair. I don't know why. He wanted red hair. All right, let's go right back to fishing. Yep. So that's it. That's the origin of the Shih Tzu pun. Death by Doom. The other one that I said during the Katana Zero stream, that was pure made up by me. I was so proud of that one. So that was a Joe original.
I'm almost
Joe
blonde.
original.
I'm kind of blonde, yeah. I'm somewhat blonde. I'm blonde at heart, but I'm more like a mix right now. Someone said they picture blonde.
Mm-hmm.
In an ideal world, I would be blonde, but I have really dark hair, so it seems that they are having trouble getting blonde.
Looks pretty good right now.
It's like a caramelly kind of.
Looks good.
It doesn't look bad, but I wouldn't say
Looks way
it's
better
blonde.
than it did before. Yeah. She really messed up your hair.
Yeah.
But that's Moncton for you, eh?
Mm.
Oh, anyway, who's the next person on the Twitch list?
Is it just red? It's like V, red, V.
Yep, I think it's just red. Yep.
Just wanted to start off by saying that I discovered Enter the Gungeon from one of your videos and bought it on sale. It sat in my library for months before I played it on a whim. I was so surprised by how much I enjoyed it, clocked 200 plus hours, and unlocked Gunslinger.
Damn.
I was so confident in how good it was that I bought it for my brother and one of my friends the next day. They both loved it. Anyway, don't know if this is long or not, but I remember you offhandedly comment in a live stream that you don't understand how people like racing games, and in the God of War video you said if you're crazy and your favorite series is a racing game, I'm very passionate about cars and racing games, so it always bugs me a bit when I hear people say this. So I'd like to ask, did you actually mean that? If so, were you referring to motorsport and or street racing games, i.e. Forza, Need for Speed, or racing games as a whole, including games similar to Mario Kart or Burnout? Could you elaborate more on those statements?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't mean it. I just thought it would be funny. Sometimes I just say shit because I think it might land. Like hating on Sonic fans and stuff like that. And if you pick Bulbasaur as your starter, then you're a Sonic fan. Like just to see if something lands. And sometimes it does, and it's like, oh, that's really funny. And sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I am not a big fan of racing games, especially the more serious ones. But there have been some in the past that I enjoyed. Mario Kart and Burnout, the two you mentioned, I played them quite a bit. More Mario Kart than Burnout, but Burnout was really, really fun. There was a old PlayStation 1 game called Destruction Derby or Destruction Derby. I think it's Derby. That was really, really fun. But you can see the trend that it needs to have something more. It can't just be just straight racing. It needs to have something in addition to the racing. Burnout has that crazy arcade kind of speed. Destruction Derby has the just like the crazy crashes you can get into. That was just so much fun. And Mario Kart has all the power-ups and the creative courses. I was really into Diddy Kong Racing when I was younger too. And for a while I thought that was better than Mario Kart 64. But as I got older I realized that, no, it's not. There was something off about the game feel in Diddy Kong Racing. And when I was a kid I wasn't really able to properly feel that out. I didn't understand what it was that I ended up like thinking was unsatisfying about Diddy Kong Racing. Probably because it has three different sets of vehicles that they needed to balance. Was it four or was it three? It was the carts and the hovercraft and the planes, right? There wasn't a fourth one, was there? Maybe there was. But yeah, I wasn't really I was in love with Diddy Kong Racing, and I cooled on it as time went on. It didn't help that I couldn't beat Wizpig. I don't know why. Yeah, Wizpig was the boss. And there's a whole like world after Wizpig that I never got to see, Space World. And I just couldn't beat him no matter what. I don't know why I couldn't. I felt like he cheated. No matter how perfect I got the boosters, I just couldn't beat him. So yeah, I couldn't beat Wizpig when I was like 12 or 13 or whatever that game came out. So that's one of my biggest gaming shames. Maybe I should go back and finally beat him. But yeah. So yeah, Mario Kart 64. The closest I've ever gotten to a serious racing game that I liked, and this is so long ago that I can't remember which one it was, so you have to forgive me, is Gran Turismo. I'm pretty sure it was Gran Turismo 2, but it might have been Gran Turismo 3. I think there was one on the original PlayStation, right? I think I played that one, and then I played one on the PlayStation 2, and I played the PlayStation 2 version way more than the first one. So yeah, but I didn't really enjoy that for the racing itself. I enjoyed it because of the progression unlock system that game had. It was just so much fun, like getting so many cars and getting money. It was almost like an RPG. So it was a good progression, almost incremental game even. So that was enjoyable. I could definitely see why people like racing games, but to me, they're quite boring in the same way. If they're as like bog standard shooters are boring now, like it needs to have something more for me. But honestly, I haven't really touched any racing games in so long that I can't even tell you what racing games even are right now, because I just stay away from them because they don't really interest me all that much anymore. I have no idea if they're still just showing off graphics and realism, because that's what it seemed to me. It's almost like a lot of them are just car porn, like how good can we render the cars and the environments, and the racing has just been the same sort of thing for so long. But that's me just speculating, and I'm talking out of my ass, so I don't really want to say it. So yeah, there's no real problem with racing games. They're just not for me, really. There was another part to this question, right?
Are there any genres, types of games you don't understand the appeal of?
I don't think so, actually. I think that I can see the appeal of almost anything. Even if it's gameplay I don't like, usually I can see, visuals or atmosphere or something. Like, I don't really understand the appeal of like the horror games that are mostly about being chased by monsters and get away from the monsters or else they kill you and it resets your progress, which is pretty much all of them, you know? I'm gonna say even like 95% of them, maybe even higher than that. That's what horror games are right now, and we haven't really gotten past that. Even watching Mandalore play Lost in Vivo, which is supposed to be one of the more creative horror games, that was still pretty much the game, you know? It did it better than other games that I've seen, but yeah, horror games are still in that area. But even that, I think I can still understand the appeal of that because those games used to be able to get to me. Like I used to be able to enjoy them. I used to be able to get scared of those. It's just over time I've played so many of them that I've just built up this immunity to it that like in those games, if the monster kills you 20 times or 30 times or just keep adding one to that number until you get to the point where you're annoyed instead of scared, that's where I start now whenever I play one of those games because it's just happened so many times in other games. It's just like, okay, well, I know there's no tension anymore because it's a game and I've already done this before. So I don't get the appeal anymore, but I still understand if someone is new to them or they just haven't reached that point yet, or maybe there's just something wrong with me. That's how I view them anyway. But even the biggest fans of those tell me that after, you know, Alien Isolation, when you're playing Alien Isolation, it's like, okay, like the alien has killed us this many times now. Is it still scary, you know, chat? And there were a lot of people in chat that were defending the game before that were now saying, no, it's not scary anymore. You know, it's gone on for so long. But then also it could be like getting into the third act of the game and now it's changed. But I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. Like fighting games don't really appeal to me, but it has to be a specific type of fighting game. Fighting games that are very rigid in how you move. I was speaking about this the other day. I can't remember if it was during the Death Stranding stream. Fighting games like Tekken and to some extent Soul Calibur, but Soul Calibur mitigates it a little bit by you being able to sidestep right in the 3D arenas. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. These games are very rigid in how you move, and just the act of like stepping forward and back and the jumping has very like committed animations to it. And it feels very clunky. It has to be that way because that's how the combat is built around this thing. Like I do understand that that's it like, intentional, but to me, playing it is very clunky, especially compared to something like Smash Bros. Smash Bros is very free in your movement. You know, it's not like I feel like you can actually move your character through many different states of animation and different states of jumping and turning and fighting instead of being locked into what feels like a set of like 3 or 4 animations that you cannot deviate from ever in the other kind of fighting games. So I don't really understand the appeal of having a game that's that locked and rigid, but like so many people love them. So obviously this is a problem with me, not with the game, right? Like, yeah, this is not something that needs to change. But yeah, I don't really get that. But maybe if I got into it more, then maybe I would click with it. Someone chat is saying that Tekken has the best movement. Are you saying that I'm wrong with what I'm saying about Tekken? Because maybe I'm misremembering Tekken and I'm getting it mixed up with like Virtual Fighter or something. Like maybe Tekken does have freer movement and I'm getting mixed up or something. I think I've only ever played Virtual Fighter in the arcade. Oh man, arcade games. Is there anything else? Like I want to say, like I don't get the appeal of something like Euro Truck Simulator. I don't get the appeal of those hardcore farming games like Farm Simulator. But to be honest, I kind of do. Like I feel like if I had time to sink into Farm Simulator, I think I would enjoy it because it's like Gran Turismo. It's like this progression loop. It's like yeah, I'm growing something, or I'm growing a business, or I'm getting a better truck, I'm learning the road, I'm growing more crops, you know what I mean? Like that thing can really get to me. But there's another question later about addiction that we might get to tonight, and I have to wonder if it's not really enjoying the game. Maybe it's just about the addiction loop, you know? It's getting into the incremental aspect of it and getting stuck into that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like dating sim games. I understand it. I've even played a couple when I was a virgin teenager, and I found them quite interesting. I can't remember their names though. I think there was one, Sakura something. I think I played one of those. I was really into webcomics when I was a teenager, and I read Penny Arcade, Mac Hall, and Mega Tokyo. And Mega Tokyo had Pyro. Pyro's the artist, and Pyro's really into dating sims. And I was like, what the fuck is a dating sim? And I looked one up and I played it. Yeah, it had porn in it. It was like, yeah, there were porn scenes. I remember something being like, you could find a cat under your porch in a special scene that I just lucked my way into, and if you take the cat in and feed it and take care of it, it turns into a cat girl angel and you can have sex with her. That's the most distinct thing. I think it's Sakura something. I'm not sure what it's called. I think it was Sakura. I'm not kidding. That's something that happens in the game. Yeah. I played that one. I think there was another one I played too, but I can't really remember it. I see the appeal of those. I see the appeal of, like Hotline Miami, stuff, games like that. I don't know. Maybe this like, are there like torture porn games? And I don't mean like flat out porn. I mean stuff like, what's the game where you're like stalking people and it got banned in Germany and you can kill people in really grotesque ways? Like maybe something like that. That's not for me. But still, I feel like I'm capable of putting myself into almost anyone else's shoes. And I can be like, yeah, I can see why someone might like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like the answer to this question is no. I feel like I can see the appeal in almost anything. Yeah. Yandere Sim, no, it's not that. It's an older game, and they had a sequel too, and the sequel got banned too. Manhunt, that's it. Manhunt 1 and 2. Yeah. Like I told you guys before, I unironically, straight up, not lying, I played Monster Girl Quest, man. I did that. Morbid curiosity got the better of me. I saw that on 4chan one time, and I was like, okay, I'll play this. Dating sim, Sakura something? I feel like it was something about cherry blossom, Sakura blossom or something. Like, maybe it wasn't Sakura. Time Ninja Sakura, like... Saku Love Blooms with the Cherry Blossom. No, it's not it. This was a long time ago. Have you played all 3 parts of the Monster Girl Quest? Of course I fucking have. You think I would leave something unfinished? Do you really think that I would play the part 1 and be like, this is weird, I've had enough? Of course fucking not.
What is your favorite season in Toronto? Winter or construction?
Any, because it'd still be in Toronto.
Homesick. I'd love some construction right about now.
True Love. Oh, it is! This is it! It's True Love, dating sim. Oh my god, it's not Sakura or anything. Maybe there was another one that played Sakura, which means I've now inadvertently admitted that I played more than one. Shit. This is it! Holy fuck. Oh man. Oh man, this looks awful. This looks terrible. True Love Cat Girl. Alright, is the Cat Girl here? No, we're just getting a bunch of bullshit now. Damn. What a blast from the past. Huh. You played True Love too, Ghosty-san? That's cool. Did you like it? Are you guys thinking about yeeting out of Monkey Town? As soon as we can, yeah. It's not awful, like, but we just don't like it compared to where we've been in Canada before. But like compared to a lot of other places in the world, and maybe even in Canada, it's still a decent place to live. It's just it has some issues that we've spoken about a little too much on stream before. So we'd like to go back to Toronto or maybe Ottawa. We're considering London. There's a city in Ontario called London, not London, England. I assume that a lot of people wouldn't know that there's a London, Ontario.
It's not far from it's like a 2-3 hour drive from Toronto.
Yeah, or maybe even Montreal. We're considering like where we can go, but that's still, I think it's at least 2 years out that we could move again. Yeah. Was there another part of V-Red's question?
Thanks for answering, and by the way, I know you were memeing probably in that God of War video, but a racing game with some JRPG elements, mainly the Persona 5 social link system, is actually my dream game.
Yeah, like if there was like a Fast and Furious kind of with waifus game, like where you have like the slice of life stuff, like running a garage and maybe like the area around your garage, and you're getting money and you're fixing up your cars, or as they say in mechanic speak, souping up your cars.
Oh yeah.
Souping up the cars.
Souping up.
Well,
This makes me feel like I'm 16 again.
Well, also you have
when
like
everyone was souping up their cars
exactly.
and they were putting spoilers on the backs.
You're souping it up, and it's
I
like
can hear Gino beats right now.
and you have like a Megan Fox tier mechanic waifu, and working in your garage. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I can see the appeal for sure. Joe had a spoiler on his car. I can't drive actually because of the narcolepsy, so I never learned how to drive. Other reasons too, actually. My parents didn't want to teach me because they were assholes, and then after I moved out, we could never afford it. So even without the narcolepsy, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm considering trying to learn now, actually. As soon as Witcher's done, I'm considering going and seeing if I'm capable of doing it, if the doctor will clear me and say it's fine. Be 33, 34, fucking learning how to drive. But hey, it'd be good to finally get it done. Why is your dog called Makoto? It seems pretty useless. This was the stream meme one that we did when we started doing the Q&As. I was using this to say fighting games are like speed chess plus the DMC combo system. Yeah, I can definitely get into that. It's just the movement feels too clunky for me to get into. Like when you play a game, like there's different kind of games you play, obviously, and sometimes you play a game and you're just moving the character around and you're just like, yeah, I'm just really getting into sync with this. It feels natural. I can move the controller and the character does what I think I want it to do. That sort of like connection with the game that you can get in like most games when you pick them up. And then you get when I play Smash Bros for the first time, that's how I felt. But when I played Street Fighter for the first time, Mortal Kombat for the first time, and when I played them for the first time, it was like way before Smash Bros. Like I remember playing Street Fighter 2 in the arcade, for fuck's sake, when it was new. When there was a fucking Street Fighter arcade cabinet in like the corner store. You know what I mean? Like it was just there. I never had that immediate like click moment with that. It was always kind of like, this feels really awkward to control. I don't like the character isn't doing what I want it to do. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel that way about those kind of games compared to Smash Bros. Melee. But I'm sure it's fine.
I forgot all about those. And the convenience
the
stores.
Cabinets? Yeah.
The arcade machines. They would usually have like one or two of them in the store.
Did you ever go to an actual arcade? There was one in Cedarbury Mall.
No, not unless we were on vacation.
Do you remember going to the movie theater when you were a kid and they used to have arcade machines in the movie theater?
Yeah, but we never went.
They still did actually. Remember?
But they do, yeah.
Yeah, last time we went to the movies, 15 years ago, they had arcade machines. I'll take Finn to Chuck E. Cheese so bad. Oh, he'd have a blast at Chuck E. Cheese, wouldn't he? I could put him on my shoulders and he could throw the basketballs. Oh man, he would have so much fun. I could teach him how, when the tickets come out of the machine, that you grab hold of the ticket as tightly as you can into the thing and you kind of wiggle it out a little bit more, and you get an extra couple tickets. Although I'm sure those assholes have developed like ticket cutting mechanisms now, so you can't do that anymore.
Lily, what game is the most confusing for you to see Joe do well at? Celeste for the fluid movement, Dusk for the first person shooting, and Twitch shooting? Bloodborne for the difficulty in dodging. And to be fair, Joe, what is a talent Lily has that you are jealous of? I think Celeste might be one of the hardest things I've ever seen him do. Because of that little darting movement that he does back and forth, and how he knows how to bounce off certain parts that don't have spikes, and like, it's like he's like a fluid ballerina monkey. Like, darting all over and bouncing off things and going for that little, what is it that you go for? Is it like a little cherry or something?
Strawberry.
Little strawberry, and like knowing how to do it, and yeah. It's first person stuff, I get really sick, so I probably just couldn't play that period, like no matter what, even if I wanted to. I need a bucket if I was going to play one of those. But Bloodborne, I might like to try Bloodborne sometime actually. Bloodborne is more my kind of game, visually. So yeah, Celeste.
You should play Bloodborne.
Maybe
yeah.
I will one day.
I think you beat Bloodborne. Lily's gonna disagree with me on this, but I'm jealous that or envious that Lily is much more naturally charismatic than I am. Lily does not think this way about herself at all, but when Lily wants to, or even if she subconsciously feels a desire to, Lily can be very charming, and Lily can go into her room and charm the pants off of people. Sometimes she does it to me literally. So she has that kind of ability that I don't. But for something that isn't a talent, but an affinity, Lily is very beautiful. She's very good looking, and I'm not an ugly person, but I'm not a good looking person, especially not compared to Lily. So I'm a little envious of that too. But it seems like the kids have inherited more of Lily's looks than mine, so I'm happy about that. So yeah.
That's sweet of you. Thank you.
I need to get. Oh shit! I'm gonna die in the game again.
And that's even without mechanical eyeliner.
Mechanical eyeliner, exactly. Thank you, Galby.
Is it the controller?
Controller? What? The rumbling?
Like.
No, these are open-eared
okay.
open-eared headsets.
So I'm hearing them more.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
never mind.
You
I was
can,
like, what the hell is that noise?
You can hear it. Oh, we made a lot of jam. Oh, we'll just grab it in the morning. Thank you, Galby Tori, for the 4-month resub. Play Muv-Love. It's only like 60 hours long, Kappa. Alright, thank you for the 4-month resub, Galby Tori. Let me look that up. Muv-Love. Oh, it's on Steam. It's Robot Girls. Or girls that go into robots. Oh man, this one has a bunch of tanks. Muv-Love Alternative. What? Playtime's over. Time for despair. Experience the definitive version of a masterpiece in the Muv-Love trilogy's thrilling conclusion. Note, therapy not included. What? Do your waifus die? Oh man, what's wrong with me? I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow. The production values really went up from Muv-Love 1 to Muv-Love 3. Just from the screenshots, I'm like, wow, they really got their shit together. Thank you, Sexy Anime Creeper. You're fitting right in right now. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Dragon's Den. Welcome to the Rubber Dub Sub Club, Sexy Anime Creeper. Welcome to the Weeb Society. No secret for you.
And the Waifu Warehouse.
The Waifu Warehouse. And thank you for...
Sorry, welcome to Weebs R Us. I couldn't help it, sorry.
Thank you to Toasty Kins as well for the new Silver Prime. That was a good joke. Well done. Thank you very much. Welcome to Pout Patrol, Toasty Kins. Thank you. Oh, Weebs R Us. Will you ever try VR? Almost certainly, yeah, but I don't have one at the moment. Have you ever heard of Antichamber? It's a great puzzle game. I actually played that. I streamed it. I think it's on YouTube, is it not? Or maybe that was one of the lost streams. Maybe it's on. Is it on Twitch still? I streamed that whole thing, and I think it's not on YouTube, but it's on Twitch. Maybe. That was a bad stream. I was really tired, and it was going fine, and then toward the end, I hit something that I shouldn't have hit, and I was confused, and I get stuck in a place that didn't even have a solution, because the game's fucking weird. I still know how I feel about that. I've never gone back into Antichamber. Most of the playthrough I enjoyed it, but yeah. You didn't finish it? Yeah, I did. I finished it. I got to the end. Is there, like, do you mean I didn't 100% it? Because I would believe that, yeah. But I got to the end. Not on YouTube, but it's not on Twitch. Damn, why is it not on YouTube? Maybe I lost that recording. I could still put it on YouTube, right? Will you highlight any more Twitch VODs? Not sure. Not sure. Not really prepared to talk about that just yet. That's one of many, many things I'm behind on at the moment. No, you didn't finish. What do you mean? I finished Antechamber. I didn't finish Antechamber? Are you sure? I'm fairly certain I did, Flexin. Name 3 of its albums. Maybe there's some secret ending or something, and that's why you think that. Or there's some other part of it that you're supposed to see and I didn't see it. Let's harvest this corn. Anyway, who's the next person on Twitch?
It's the water guy.
It's the water guy. Gatorade.
Hey, Joe.
Did you see that? Did you see that movie?
Which movie?
You used to love Adam Sandler. Have you seen
The Water Boy?
Have you seen The Water Boy?
Yeah, a long time ago. Oh, I haven't seen an Adam Sandler movie in a long
The
time.
water guy.
My brother was obsessed with him. That's why I watched them all. And they were funny because I like dumb comedy, so I laughed. But I remember we had to watch them all because of him. We watched them over and over again.
Do you remember any of the songs they used to sing?
Oh, shit. Back to school. Back to school. To prove to Dada that I'm not a fool. I've got my
backpack on, my shoes tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Yeah, that's it.
And then there was something about shampoo and conditioner fighting, but I don't
Oh,
remember
he's
that
in the
one.
bath and he's got like shampoo in one hand and conditioner in one, and he's like, shampoo is better. I need the hair healthy and strong. No, conditioner is better.
No, healthy and clean. Conditioner makes it strong.
Silky and strong or something. And then he starts bashing them together, and then he looks at the swan behind him. He's like, stop looking at me, swan. It's so stupid.
Oh,
But when you're a
so
kid, it's funny.
No, it's still funny.
It's not still funny, no.
Oh, man.
Tell them you're kidding before they think you're serious.
I like dumb comedy. I'm sorry. The dumber the better. If he would have fallen down right then, it would have been even better. Tripped over his own feet or something.
Anyway, the water guy.
Anyway, water guy. Sorry. Hey, Joe and Lily. Hope all is going well. Well. Outside of games you've made videos on, no Fallout 76 or No Man's Sky, what are the worst games that you've paid money for?
So I try to read some of the questions before we start, and I read this one, and I've been trying to think of some answer to this, and honestly, I can't think of anything apart from stuff that you guys will already know. Death Stranding and Hello Neighbor, like because you said videos, I haven't made a video on Hello Neighbor, so Hello Neighbor would definitely be it. You know. The only one I could think of that, I've never spoken about much or at all on stream is Icewind Dale 1 and 2, because I really enjoyed like Planescape Torment, I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate, and then I got Icewind Dale thinking it was going to be, more Baldur's Gate, and it was just dungeon crawling nonstop and no characters, no real story, nothing, and I was like, wow, this is shit. So yeah, that would be the only candidate. I went through and I googled like worst games on PlayStation 1, worst games on PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Super Nintendo, and 64, and like all these games were like, yeah, okay, those are pretty bad. I've heard of them, but I didn't get them. I didn't play them. So I guess when I grew up, it's like I chose what games I was going to get very carefully. But that probably doesn't even apply to your question because, those were gifts when I was a kid. And when I had, resources to buy the games myself, with Icewind Dale, Icewind Dale 2, that sort of thing, I was so choosy because it was very difficult for me to get a game that I rarely ran into any problems. And if something was really, really bad, I just wouldn't get it. So I don't think I have an answer. Death Stranding is not that bad, by the way. I don't know yet, so yeah, I'm just making a joke, but yeah. I can probably tell you games that I was really disappointed by. Maybe Deus Ex Invisible War. Maybe that would be one of them. That was really bad. Devil May Cry 2 I rented. I didn't even buy it, but now I have bought it with a trilogy, so technically, I could answer with Devil May Cry 2. But yeah, I didn't buy it. I just rented it. Does renting count? If renting counts, then stuff like sorry Lily, Mario is missing, Yoshi's Story, those kind of things. If renting counts, Yoshi's Story is goddamn terrible. We were speaking about that briefly earlier. I hated Yoshi's Story so much. Devil May Cry 2 is fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. Oh, here's one that would be surprising, or here's two that would be surprising. I think that the original Super Nintendo Star Fox is just a shit game. It's terrible. Star Fox 64 is fantastic. It's great, but the Star Fox on the Super Nintendo is just fucking terrible. It doesn't run well enough to even function as a game for me. It's fucking awful. Yeah, Yoshi's Story. Sorry, Yoshi's Story is really bad. Yoshi's Story really bad. Getting over. No, I like Getting Over It. Getting Over It's really good. Sorry.
You go against Mario is missing, but you like fucking Getting Over It.
Yeah, Getting Over It's great. Yeah, what's wrong with Getting Over It?
Getting Over It makes me mad. There's a little fucking pogo stick.
Did you ever play Super Mario RPG Legends 7 Stars? Has your dad humor? Yeah, I played that. That was good. I'm trying to think of anything else that I played like that. Most of this is gonna be just disappointments. Like I don't know if this qualifies, but this is an interesting answer at least. There was a game for the N64 that was by Rare, that Rare was doing fantastically back then, and I would get pretty much every game that they had, and I got this game and I was like, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be at all, and it was kind of bad and shit in a lot of ways. Was Jet Force Gemini. Or Jet Force Gemini. But I think if I played that again now, I wouldn't feel like that was a shit game or anything, or this is awful. Just back then, it was just kind of like, it felt really like unfinished and kind of meh. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? This feels so bad compared to another shooter like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. I wish I could say Perfect Dark Zero, but I didn't play it. But I'm one of those crazy people that thinks GoldenEye 64 is better than Perfect Dark on the N64. It was just more gamey to me, but I know that's a weird opinion to have. I think I'm gonna just start dumping shit in random chests because I'm forgetting where everything went. It was more gamey, yeah. Isn't that so specific? I think that's it. I don't think I have any other answer that I paid money for. Yoshi's Story was just so boring. I feel like it needs to justify the Yoshi Story shit. Like, it was just so fucking dull. Like, all the levels felt like they were the same, just flat plane, walk left to right, and it was a game that would put me to sleep. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, here we go, I'm drifting off, There's something similar about Ubisoft games that I do that. The Assassin's Creed. I was recently playing an Assassin's Creed to get footage for the Witcher video, and there's just something about the Assassin's Creed games, even though I've enjoyed some in the past, there's something kind of like sluggish and kind of dream-like about those games that just kind of like gets me into almost an ASMR, I'm kind of drifting off kind of mode. I don't know why, but Yoshi's Story reminds me of that too. It's just kind of like, all right, here we go, time to fall asleep playing some Yoshi's Story. Whereas Yoshi's Island is one of my favorite games ever, so it was weird to go from that to being so excited for Yoshi's Story when it came out, and then it was fucking crap. Turok was good on the N64. Someone said Blast Corps. I didn't play Blast Corps for more than a little while, but I didn't have that one. Yeah, I think that's it. Sorry. if I had time to like go through all the games I've ever had, I might be able to give you some better answers. Oh, I didn't like the original Tomb Raider games, but I think I just inherited those games from someone. Just passed down. Some epic gamer drank too much Mountain Dew, and I just got them from somewhere. So I don't know. Any Far Cry games played? Yep. I don't think those would qualify. I enjoyed Far Cry 1 quite a bit. There's some games I recently got for the Switch, and by recently I mean sometime in the last year. Some of those were pretty bad, but I can't even remember their names. But that would just be picking on some indie devs, so I don't want to say that. That wouldn't be fair of me. But those were pretty bad, and I was looking for like hidden gems on the Switch store, and I bought all these games one by one because the Nintendo store doesn't have a shopping cart, and I was playing some of them, and some of them were fucking awful. But yeah, that would be picking on anything. Hold on, let me. Paw Patrol does count for sure. Yeah, Paw Patrol would be it. Let me go through my Steam list real quick and see if there's anything here, and then we'll move on to the next question from the water guy. Country roads take me home. Oh, here's one. Okay, this actually counts. This is a hot take too. Damn, it's gonna fire on all cylinders. Mass Effect 3. And I'm serious. Mass Effect 3 was so terrible, I couldn't play it. I couldn't finish it. I played it for a couple hours. I've spoken about this before. I played it for a couple hours, and then I gave up because it was just so fucking terrible. I could not stand it. Spoilers for Mass Effect 3, there's a big galactic war going on, and it's really, really time sensitive, and oh my god, time to go look for fossils, time to solve some love triangles. Oh no, our friend that was only in number 2 for like 5 seconds might be dying. Oh no, better fucking sit around and cry while tens of thousands of people die every single second that we're just sitting here doing fucking nothing. Like, I could understand it if you were having these conversations while the ship is in transit and there's just literally nothing you can do, but yeah, I couldn't get past it. So yeah, I gave up on that. And maybe I've never played it again since. What else is on my list here? I don't think I'm gonna find anything. If there was something god-awful, I'd probably just stop playing it. Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Oh, we should play that on stream one time. I hear that's janky and kind of crap, but it could be fun. Graveyard Keeper was really disappointing, but I wouldn't say that was awful. No, I don't think I'm going to come up with anything else. Okay, that's it. Like, again, Moonlighter, I wouldn't call that awful, but that was pretty bad and pretty disappointing, and just what a waste of a game. And such a beautiful game, too. Like, oh my god, what happened there? Anyway, okay.
What is the trend in games you're most excited to see grow, and which one are you most excited to see die out?
I'm not sure if there's any trends that I would like to see grow that I can come to mind right now. I can give you my usual answer of things that I would like to see happen more in games, but I don't think they're happening already, and so they can grow. I'd like to see more interesting movement systems, but not in the way that Death Stranding's movement system is made, but in more of in active options rather than making it difficult to do the simple movement that you could already do in most games. I think that that's a serious criticism of Death Stranding, by the way. I'm not like shitting on it there. That's not a joke. That's one of the few serious criticisms I think I can safely say at the moment about Death Stranding. I would like to see more fleshed out combat systems, and I kind of think maybe that is a good answer, because I kind of feel like that's the way we're going right now with a lot of like games. I think that a lot of games are suddenly, even AAA games are starting to really give a shit about that kind of thing. For as much as I've been like secretly, you know, and very subtly, you know, like you probably even haven't even noticed that I've played Witcher 3, and you know, I've been keeping all that information so tight to my chest that I'm sure it's a shock that, you know, you haven't noticed that I've been criticizing the combat system in that game, you know, over a couple streams now. But like even that shows concerted effort in trying to make something worth a shit, you know, worth a moon in the combat system. And then you have games like even something like Greedfall, the Assassin's Creed games, Origins and Odyssey, you know, those games have like show like they're really trying to add new things to the combat system, and they don't want it to be just filler bullshit. I'm not saying they're successful, because in the most part they're not, but they are trying, and it's not just like, hey, it used to be a lot of these games would just be like what shooters are, you know, like the Call of Duty, just here, hide behind cover, hold down the left trigger to aim down the iron sights, hold down the right trigger, fire, and it's just move the mouse game and hopefully have enough spectacle in the set pieces to sell it, you know what I mean? And it felt like a lot of games in the action genre were like, hey, let's just do that, you know, it doesn't matter what we do, we just have to have the basic standard gameplay for like I think like a decade there, right? Like from the late 2000s to like mid 20 teens or something. I don't know where I would set those dates, but I feel like in the last couple of years, a lot of games have started to wake up and are trying, not succeeding, trying. So I like to see more of that, and like the epitome of that would be like God of War 2018, which is just like holy shit, like for a AAA game, that combat system is really, really good. So it's like, oh man. I shouldn't say it for any game. That combat system is really, really good. That's a good combat system. It's not Devil May Cry 5, but you know, it's really, really good. So I like to see that, and more chances being taken. That's why I'm trying to hold off on criticism with Death Stranding. You know, like it's trying something new, and I think it's worth exploration. That's why I'm so interested in playing it. You know, what if this goes somewhere? What if the first 20 hours are kind of dull and tedious because there's a point to it? Like, what if there's like some artistic expression that's being made here, that there's like a slow burn that we're getting to something interesting. Like I'm not saying it's going to be successful, but it's interesting still. Like I really want to see it through and see what happens, you know? Same with like Red Dead Redemption 2, for all the problems Red Dead Redemption 2 has, like from my very limited time playing it, but also just seeing people talking about it, like it's almost a niche game, you know what I mean? Even though it's so popular and it's trying to appeal to so many people at the same time, and it is so wildly successful, it's still so weird in how you play that game, and all the different kind of like uncompromising decisions it has toward like I'm not sure if immersion is the right one, but I'm gonna say it for now, again, in my limited experience, you know? I want to see more of that. I want to see more chances, and I think that we're seeing that a little bit more now in the AAA space, and now the AA space that's appearing and becoming more prominent, and also more things being done with movement systems and combat systems that aren't just hair filler, you know? I would really like to go back and see what era I would say is just the combat filler time, and maybe it was Dark Souls that was like a big part of pushing that awakening on people, you know? But linking to Dark Souls, the other part is like, what do I wish would die out? I wish the Souls-like would kind of go down a bit. I feel like there are enough Souls-likes, and the way that game dev can take a long time, I'm sure that we haven't seen the, you know, the end of the boom for the Dark Souls-like boomers. There's going to be quite a lot more before we run that well dry, you know? As much as I love Neo, and I hope to love Neo 2, and I enjoyed Code Vein and all this other stuff, I feel like we're not going to get there, you know? Like it's not going to be worth it, and we're going to get really sick of this kind of combat system that has nothing added onto it if we haven't already. So I would like that to die down a little bit. I don't want it to go away, but I would like it to die down a little bit, and let's move on to something different. And also the obvious example would be microtransactions, or the obvious answer, microtransactions. I'm really tired of I'm really tired of paying for a game and then having to pay even more to get the full experience. I'm even more tired of freemium titles that it's like, oh, or really low price titles that you end up paying way more than full price because they kind of like lure you in with the free or lure you in with like the low price, and then suddenly, you know, to get all the things that a full price time would have, you'd have to pay like $200 to get all the different armor sets and stuff. I don't typically care about armor sets, but there's still something cool to find, you know. Yeah, stuff like Path of Exile, I feel like is greatly diminished by having so much of the coolest shit locked behind microtransactions. But it's also kind of ridiculous. You go into town and it's like, it's almost like the designers are stuck in this weird kind of awkward position of they can't make the regular armor look good enough because then people won't be incentivized into buying the microtransaction stuff, but the microtransaction stuff has to look so crazy over the top that they have to have it like glowing visual effects and shit, and everyone looks like Warhammer, like even 40k, even though it's a fantasy thing, you know. Like you go into town and everyone's like fucking Power Ranger Gothic style, you know. It's everyone looks like they're going to a Halloween party where they're trying really, really hard to have the most spikiest costume. So it's a bit disappointing that there's no middle ground, because then people won't want to buy all that stuff, you know? That's really disappointing to me. The other thing I don't like, and I'm disliking more and more as time goes on, is early access. I hate that the follow-up to Subnautica is in early access, like the first one, and I know that Subnautica greatly benefited from being in early access, and they got a lot of cool data from that. It's actually a GDC talk I watched a couple months ago from the Subnautica team, and like it was a really cool process for them, and they got to learn a lot. But I mean, like, I hate that you can go in and play those games and you can see it in early development and you kind of spoil yourself from having it for the full game. And then you spoil yourself in another way, that the full game comes out and you see all these things that weren't fixed, and you're kind of like, what the fuck was early access for? But then you also feel like you're missing out. Everyone else is playing it before you because they have less patience, or they're just going to dive in, and when you finally do play it, you feel like everything's already been discovered and you're not part of like the community experience when you launch into one of these games, you know. Like there's no this big fervor sharing, oh, did you get this, did you get that? Like I'm thinking of something like if Baba Is You had an early access mode where you could go in and you could see all those puzzles early on, you know. Like we wouldn't have had that really cool Discord experience where we were all talking about it in that week, you know, a week or two after Baba Is You came out, you know. That was fun. So I feel like early access kind of ruins that for quite a few people. I don't know. Someone's to bring up Noida. Yeah, like Noida in early access, is that really a game that benefits from early access? I don't know. Like I didn't even know if that was a game for me, so I still gave it a try. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm not sure how I feel about Kickstarter and crowdfunding in general. I think it's probably okay. I haven't really been paying much attention to it lately, so there's been a bunch of games that have come out, and at the end it says this was made by Kickstarter, you know? And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that, so I guess it's fine. Like, it's kind of invisible, but a lot of... I feel, and this is just no numbers to back it up, I haven't done any research, I feel that Kickstarter games and going into early access kind of go hand in hand, and I feel there's some connection there, so... I need to cough, I'm sorry. But microtransactions are the big one, and I just wish games cost more. If they need it, then make the games cost more. Just go for it, man. Like, let's just rip the band-aid off. But I also think that dev costs are just crazy inflated, and we don't need games to look as good as they do, and yeah. Are there any other gameplay things I wish would die out? Probably inventory management that has no place in inventory management. XP systems that are very thoughtlessly included. I feel like that's the new one now. Thoughtless filler combat systems were the thing for a while, and now we've got like thoughtless RPG mechanics with just skill-based bullshit that's just only there to just keep you engaged. If a skill-based system or XP system is there to reward you and give you more options as you go through the game, and the game is built around that, actually, you know what I mean? Like it's carefully been tailored around that, then great, you know, that can make sense for sure. But if it's just thrown in there to have like the carrot, to just continue to make you play, then yeah, I wish that would go. But carry weight needs to go. I feel like Death Stranding is a game that does it well. Like that is a game that earns its carry weight. But I would really struggle to think of maybe 4 other games that earn it. Maybe even 2. I don't know. Like not even one comes to mind right now that I feel like, yeah, that needs the carry weight limit. I think a good way of figuring that out is, can you think of any game that would benefit from having a carry weight limit imposed onto it? And sure, you might be able to think of 1 or 2, but like, even this game, why the fuck does this game have a carry limit? You know? Anyway, that's it. I think Water Guy had a quick question and a question for you, right?
Yep. Have you played Uncharted: The Lost Legacy? If so, what are your thoughts? Will you make a video on it?
I have not played it. When I finally do, I might make a video on it, a quick one maybe, but the Uncharted videos didn't do all that well compared to the big one with Last of Us in it. So I wonder if that's because the length of that one is so big, or maybe it's because everyone just wants to watch the Last of Us part. I have no idea. Or maybe it's because I split the Uncharted 4 videos up. But, you know, it might be worth it just to do it anyway. Yeah. I'll see. If there's enough for me to talk about, then I'll do it. But if there isn't, then maybe I'll just throw it in like a quick section at the end of the Last of Us Part 2 video, if I have enough to say on that. But I can't imagine how I couldn't have enough to say on Last of Us Part 2.
This one's for Lily. What's the worst job you've ever had, and what made it so awful? Well, I think out of all the jobs I've ever worked, I only liked one of them. So this is kind of a tough one. There was my very first job where the manager was kind of a pervert, and he used to always try to drive me home and get me to go down to the basement and organize clothes. It was in a clothing store. And then he'd sit on the stairs where the block the only way out and just talk to me for the longest time. And then I was supposed to be at the cash, and I wasn't at the cash because I was in the basement. And then it came out that money was missing, and he wanted me to pay for it out of pocket. And then after I quit, it came out that he was the one who had been taking money and kind of screwing me over. My guess is he would raid the cash, and then he'd come down and block me so I couldn't go upstairs. So that was my first job. I was like 15.
Bit rapey sitting on the stairs like that.
I was always very aware that he was behind me sitting on the stairs. And like I would be like putting coat hangers on, you know, on jeans and stuff like that. I was like 15. My second job was at Pizza Hut, and it was my first waitressing job. And I was there about 6 months, I think. And you know, just learning. There was carpet. I slipped once on the carpet. I lost a whole pizza. You know, like I had to pay for these things out of pocket a lot of the time. And there would only be 2 of us on the floor. So if it got busy, you know, good luck learning how to be a server when there's that many people. But I left around the time that one of the managers accused me of giving away free dipping sauces because it would inflate my tip, which I never did once. And I kept thinking, if I was going to steal dipping sauces, like, why would I stop at dipping sauces? Why wouldn't I, like, raid your drinks or something like that? So I left after that one. Then I was at another place for about a year, and then I left, and I was working at an Italian restaurant where you had to wear a tie and a dress shirt, and it was very fancy. I had to carry a wine opener in my pocket and, you know, pour the wine on a tray. It was all very spiffy, and I was totally out of my league, but I learned. And they were kind of pervy too when I think about it now. They would have their friends come over. There were 2 brothers. They were like in their 40s, and I was in my 20s at the time, so they were quite a bit older than me. Neither had ever married. The servers would flirt with them and like throw themselves at them, but I don't know if they were actually doing any of them or if it was just like a flirting thing or not. I don't know. I was in school at the time, so I was very much going to school during the day and just studying during my breaks and working there at the same time. So I was there about 6 months too, I think, before they let me go. With no notice, they let me go. Like, it was fine one day, and the second day it was like, just don't come back. But they would have their friends over, and like you'd be done your shift at like say 10 o'clock. They closed at 11. And they would expect you to be there till like 1 a.m. They would just expect you to, like, on your own time, just serve their friends, and you know their friends would come and drink, and you would be expected to And God forbid if you said you had to go or, you know, you didn't want to stay. They didn't like that at all. They just wanted you to stay and be their free server. So, yeah. But my longest job was about 10 years total. I was there and then I left and then I came back. And that was the worst in a way just because they expected me to be a manager without the authority of a manager. So they put me in charge of the dining room essentially, and I would draw up the side work for the servers. I would assign sections, so people would automatically be pissed at me because they had worse side work and they didn't want to do that, or they were in a lesser section and other people might make more money. I was basically in charge of what money they were making that night. And there were people there old enough to be my mother, and they did not want to take orders from, you know, a 20 something. So I never had anyone backing me, so I was constantly at war with the staff, basically, because I was other, right? I was not like them. I was really good at that job, if I'm being honest, but they didn't give me the tools I needed to do it properly. So it was a really hard situation for me. And that's it. The only job I ever liked, I barely worked at all, and maybe that's why I liked it so much. It's still a novelty to me. It was when I was working at the Italian restaurant and I was going to school part time. I got a job at a funeral home and I was working there as a hostess in the lounge. People would come in, I would set out cookies and make coffee and espresso and stuff like that. And drink a lot of the espresso too while I was waiting in between people coming in. And yeah, I loved it. There was like a catering type job I was doing there where like on the weekend after the cemetery, people would come back and have lunch, and I would be in charge of setting up like a buffet and serving and cleaning and vacuuming afterward. And
They would come back from the cemetery?
Yeah, it would be like their lunch after the,
Oh,
you know.
the okay.
Yeah, not the dead person.
Not
they
the
left
dead
him
person.
there, but
Okay.
like the family, right, would come back and they would have like booked a room, and like they would have their little memorial wake or whatever it's called afterward, and I would be there loading the dishwasher and, you know, vacuuming after they left. And it was really weird my first night staying there after they left, and it was dark out. It was like, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I'm there with these funeral directors, and they're switching rooms. I remember they were wheeling people out of one room and wheeling them into the other room, and I'm vacuuming trying to mind my own business. The dead people are just going back and forth, left, right, and center, and it was really, really weird. But I liked that job a lot, and I just didn't have enough time between the Italian restaurant and school. So eventually I was kind of on call. They'd call me and say, "Can you work?" And I'd say, I can't. And after I think several weeks of just I can't, I just got my T4 in the mail. You know, the paperwork they send you when, like, they didn't even fire me or anything. They didn't let me go. They just sent me the paperwork that I didn't work there anymore. And it's a shame because that was a cool job. So
It was a cool job.
yeah.
I remember that.
That's it. That's pretty. Oh, well, there was the little pub I worked at briefly that wanted me to wear a miniskirt kilt, and I didn't like that, so I quit. And there was 2 jobs that I did training for, and they were kind of creepy guys too. And I did the training, and then I just never went back.
A lot of creepy guys out there.
Yeah, well, it just seems like it's that kind of atmosphere. Sometimes if you get like a guy working in a restaurant or a bar, you know, like it just depends really on who you get. You can get someone really good, or you can get someone who just makes you a little bit. One of those ones had like a cellar. I remember I had to go downstairs and get the beer kegs from the cellar, and it was like the stairs that go down to nowhere in the dark. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't stay there very long. A couple days maybe after that, after I saw those stairs, I was gone. But yeah, it just depends what you get in the restaurants and stuff. Like, you really don't know. The people at the funeral home were the sweetest people. You'd think, oh, you know, funeral directors, you know, people, you know, why would you choose to do that, or are they a little bit odd, or, you know, that this is what they make their career out of. They were the sweetest people. They were just totally like just normal people. On their break they would just talk about completely normal things, sit down with me, and they made me feel very at home there. So yeah, that's my worst job. I don't even know what it would be. I want to say it's the first job, but I wasn't there that long. The other one lasted 10 years. Is that one the worst one? I used to come home in tears from that job because they'd yell at me and lock myself in the bathroom at work and cry, and like it was a really bad situation. But now that I'm not there anymore, part of me misses it sometimes because I feel like I was really good at that job and I knew I was good at it, and I miss like the like, what's it called, like the chaos, or like the of having to deal with so many different problems at the same time, like that kind of test that you put yourself through to see, you know, and you're proud afterward after you've handled it so well, and I kind of miss that feeling sometimes.
There was a short story I read once about from an amateur writer who was like way better than most of the other amateur writers I was reading at the time, and it was from perspective of a hostess like that, and I think it captured that really well. I wish I could find it and read it to you. It was really really good, and it was like just like the big like building to the climax at the end of the night, and you're just kind of like. You finally exhale, and then the punchline at the end was and then you get home and you wake up in the middle of the night and you realize that you forgot to bring that thing that you promised that you were going to bring.
Still happens to me now. Still now, after I haven't been there in like almost 3 years. No, yeah, almost 3 years. This month was when I last served a table, and because I was hostess, I was kind of server, bartender, manager. I did all the jobs, so. There would be days where they weren't expecting a lineup, and it's like Thursday night, and well, shit, there's a lineup out the door, and we've got 6 servers on the floor, and 2 are supposed to be done, and they don't want to stay, and the manager's running food, and I need a martini lily, and it's like, well, shit, there's a lineup, I have a wait list, clean that table, and me doing it pregnant sometimes too, because I had Finn and Leo while I was working there, and so here's me with my 6 months, belly running around. And yeah, there's still times now like you'd be done, and afterward you'd be like dripping with sweat by the time you were done all of this, and you'd be so proud though. There was something so like, well, fuck, I managed, like maybe I didn't do it great, and maybe people are pissed with me, or maybe it wasn't as handled as well as it could have been, but I did it all by myself, like I juggled all those things, and you could be really proud, especially stuff like Mother's Day where like you had a wait list the whole day. I was really proud sometimes of after those times that I kicked some ass, Like,
is Mother's Day universally like the worst day for restaurants?
It's different days, different places, but I don't know. Father's Day was never so much, but Mother's Day always was. It usually rained on Mother's Day for some reason. It was like that rainy May weather. Is it universally? Like, do you guys in restaurants, do you get a lot of business? Mother's Day was the busiest day of the year for us. Like, everyone worked Mother's Day. That you could not get out of Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is surprising. You spend holiday. For someone who hasn't been able to watch the stream, can you summarize your thoughts on Understanding? I can't really. It's an ongoing process. It's okay. I'm finding it quite tedious. It's like, yeah, not sure. Please lower game volume. The sound effects are driving me nuts. Sure, I can lower it. It doesn't really matter if you guys can hear this one or not.
Thanksgiving, really? That's interesting.
I'm from a very different culture, so no judging or anything, no means to offense. Is working at such a young age over there normal? I would say yes.
Yeah, a lot of people. My friend worked there. She actually got me the job. It was just mostly for spending money at the beginning, so like I got some money for doing chores around the house, but my parents were always really annoyed when they actually had to pay me. So, it was fine when I was doing everything, but when it came time that it had all added up and I was like, hey, you owe me this much, they'd be like, what the hell? So it was good to have my own money. And I got a discount. And it was right before Christmas when I started working there. So that Christmas, I got a bunch of new clothes at like, I don't know, 20-30% off or something. And then I quit right afterwards. So I still got to keep the clothes. So there was that. But, yeah. I didn't work after that job. I didn't work for, I think, 4 years or so. I think I was about 19 when I got the Pizza Hut job. And that was to make money to pay for my university books. So I wasn't working the whole time, but I did have my first job. And with my first paycheck, I bought a Linkin Park CD, Hybrid Theory, and I still have it.
Good CD. Probably their best.
I remember that. I remember going to the store and buying the CD.
I don't like the terms ending with S for women, actress, hostess, because its phonetic conclusion isn't as heavy as the other term, actor, host. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either, but it's one of those things that's just stuck in my head. I would prefer to just say actor instead of having to specify, but yeah, it's a habit I don't think I'm gonna.
But then I would have missed out on all of the regulars telling me I was the hostess with the mostest.
I don't think it's a habit I'm going to get out of. All right, this is weird. So see how you can move the mouse with the right stick? I can move the mouse off the screen still with the gamepad. See that, Lee? See it's moving? Weird, huh?
It is really weird.
Yeah. Did the water guy have something at the end?
Sorry if there are any repeat questions you've answered before, but I haven't watched every Q&A stream. You haven't watched every Q&A stream, water guy?
Wow.
Get on that.
Fake fan.
If I'm not in chat, could someone please ping me on Discord letting me know my question was read? Well, maybe we should have read that first. Now we answered them all.
If I remember correctly, Season of Sakura is the other dating sim you played. You can play some of these online for free browser. All right, let me see. Season of Sakura. Let's see if that's Season of Sakura. Yep, this is it. Damn, you're good. Is this the one with the cat girl that's under the porch? Oh man, look at her. She's kind of scary.
No, we never worked at a big box retailer, either of us. Not like a Walmart or anything. Just I worked in chains, but they weren't like that. I didn't. That was the only retail job I ever had. Was the first clothing store, and then it was all restaurants and the funeral home after that.
The cat girl's on True Love. Okay, so it's not Season of Sakura. Damn. Okay, so that's it. Those are the only dating sims I've played, apart from one that is just so such a display of debauchery that I'm never ever gonna tell you what it is. Like, no matter how much you say tell us, I don't care. There's nothing anyone could do that would make me tell you this other one that I've played. I am never saying it. But yeah, that's it.
Poor water guy just got pinged like 3 times. He asked for it. You pinged the shit out of him. He asked for it.
Euphoria? No, I don't think I've heard of that one. I have heard of Katawa Shouju. I think I played that very briefly, and that's it. So I guess I'm a liar. There's another one I've played, but I didn't get into anybody. So I'm sorry. So yeah, that's not one I would consider. I'm not saying it. I'm not. Even if someone guesses right, I'm not saying it. I will never. I'm taking it to the grave.
Really? Man, that's so weird to me. I'm from a third world country, and over here you currently can't even work as a packing boy at a supermarket if you are not over 18. You could under the table, but yeah, that's wow.
That's probably how it should be.
It's hard to get work because they all want you to have experience. So unless you know somebody who can kind of get you in, most of the time it's very hard to get your foot in the door. Which is why with the tenure job that I hated, it was still money coming in, and you don't want to just give up something, that is a regular paycheck for something that might not work out. So yeah. But yeah, 15 is very young. Like I was in grade 10 high school. So I was still very, very young. And my mom had to come pick me up. I remember because I would close the store after the mall. It would be like 10 o'clock, 10:30 by the time I balanced the cash and was able to leave. And creepy guy wanted to drive me home all the time, so my mom would have to come get me because he was like, I'm not letting you take the bus. That's, it's too late for someone to be out like that. Yeah, he was so creepy. Guy? And yeah, so she would come pick me up. The mall would be closed and she'd have to come get me.
Good thing I wasn't around back then, because I would have totally beat that guy up.
You totally would have.
Totally.
You probably could have.
Really easy to say that I would do that now.
I might have been able to beat him up, come to think of it, but he wasn't
totally
much to him, but he was still kind of creepy.
In fact, considering that I don't have to prove it, I'm going to say that I'm certain that I would have.
Whatever happened to them? Because he wasn't there much longer after I left. Yeah, I'm 16 and I had to apply to like 15 places to get a dishwashing job. It's really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. And in the restaurants, people were always coming and going. Like you wouldn't see most people there very long, especially in the kitchen. The kitchen guys were always coming and going. Like they can get someone so easily. Like there's so many people beating down the door for a job. That they'll do anything, especially when they're young like that. That they can totally just go through you and move on to the next one. We don't have degrees in anything. No, we both have some university, but we didn't finish.
Sorry that we got so behind on this, but thank you, Action Cater, for the 100 bits. I went to the theater today. Uh-oh. Was there a dog there? And I'm going tomorrow. Okay, and yes, there are arcades there, but they were all out of order. Their Batman game was right of the Street Fighter, which was right of the Pac-Man, even though B's before C's and P's before S, disgustingly out of order. Credit Zeph Swire. Sorry if it didn't translate as well. Thank you for the Action Caterer. Thank you, Dexiant, for the new Silver Prime. Sorry it took us so long to read that out. Thank you, Dexiant, for the new Silver Prime. Welcome to the pickle pile. Welcome to the pickle jar. I can't remember. Is it pickle pile or pickle jar? What do you want? What do you guys like more?
I thought it was pickle pile.
I thought it was pickle jar. Thank you very much. Relco is using this to say Joseph Yoshi's story could help you and Finn sleep. Yoshi's Crafted World is way better than Yoshi's story. Thank you, Sam Iverson, for the 4-month resub. Hey, Joe, you used to do this thing on Discord where you would tell you their favorite game and you would destroy them. So I hope you've played this one. My favorite game is Diablo 2. Do your best. So there was this thing where anyone would just say game, and I would immediately have like a way to destroy it, and make you really feel bad about it. So Diablo, like, it would be Hollow Knight. Wow, doesn't even have a waifu? You know what I mean? Like, it would just be some joke criticism. But yeah, Diablo 2. I mean, it's all right, but it's no Diablo 3. Thank you, Ozar99, for the 20-month resub. Thank you very much. 20 months in the Rub-a-Dub Sub Club. Thank you. Hornet's no waifu. Simple and right to the jugular there. Okay, let's go to Patreon, which I think is Action Caterers next on Patreon. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Sorry, one second. Just to remind people, because like I'm playing this game very, very poorly at the moment, I'm not really paying much attention to it. I'm just kind of just walking around doing whatever kind of strikes me. I have no plan. It must be frustrating for anyone who's like a min-max Stardew Valley player or anything like that. Just, yeah, I'm just running around doing shit.
Action Caterer says, "Hey Jojo Siwa," I think, and Leland, or I think it's Leland, right? Leland.
I thought this ridiculous thing had stopped, but I guess not. It's pretty good.
Glad you're doing well. Can see the finish line on the Witcher video and comfortable enough to stream again. I know you're a busy guy, but I recommend you try playing a tabletop role-playing game just because it is the most freeing gameplay experience you can have, depending on a game master, of course. It's one of the only mediums of storytelling besides certain video games that are in the second-person perspective, like you walk into a cavern as opposed to I or they.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my actual question, which is somewhat related, I'm currently running a tabletop game of Danganronpa for a few friends of mine, mostly because I just wanted to try making a system that would allow them to be as free as they can be, while also being in this murder mystery killing game made by Monokuma.
Wait, hold on, because Action Cater is here. You're making it up, like, or is there a Danganronpa tabletop game that I don't know about? Like, you're just making one up. I think he'll answer as you go on.
What was really fun about that was...
Okay, he didn't make it up. Okay, cool.
What was really fun about that was that they chose what their talent was, and so they ended up using their weird skills
man.
they picked to try and solve the murders. One of my friends decided to be a Japanese girl who was the ultimate adult film connoisseur. Connoisseur, I always say that wrong. Porn expert. And she somehow used her knowledge and skills to deduce that certain people couldn't be the murderer. And later she chose to kill someone and her skills came into play.
Ooh.
And that's a lot of the fun of tabletop, the fact that you customize yourself to be whatever the hell you want, and the game master, because they aren't a computer program, is able to adapt the story to fit those customizations. My question is there a game out there that you know of or have played where there's a massive amount of customization and that customization makes your experience of playing the game so much more different to someone else's experience? And no, I don't mean Trash Chan made some cutscenes hilarious. I mean beyond the aesthetics and look of a character.
No. I think the closest that I've played is probably going to be New Vegas. Even something like Baldur's Gate 2, which has a lot more options, doesn't really have, like, unless you're like thinking of like more about combat, but even then I don't think that's the main draw of the game. Like all the decisions with the situations that you get into are the same or very close to the same no matter what your character is. I think maybe New Vegas might be it for me. I'm not sure if I haven't played Fallout 1 and 2. Maybe Fallout 1 and 2 are better than New Vegas in that way. Disco Elysium seemed to have quite a lot of options and a lot of decision making that you can do in that, from what people have said about it. So maybe that's one of them. But no, I don't think so. They're not. They are the duality of chat for Fallout 1 and 2. That sounds really cool, by the way. The tabletop Danganronpa game. I think I think I would enjoy participating in that more than running the DM thing. But I don't know. Maybe I would enjoy running the DM thing. I'm always kind of hesitant to say that because I feel like I would get frustrated as things don't go to plan. And the goal would be to try to be as flexible as possible as they try to derail any plans that you have. You know, the DM makes plans and the players laugh. Huh. Does Chad have any good examples of something like that with a character thing? Someone in chat is saying like Dwarf Fortress, but Dwarf Fortress is more about the like. It's more like a strategy game, right? I've played Dwarf Fortress quite a bit, and well there is adventure mode. Maybe adventure mode is different. Maybe something like Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. I've seen people play that. Neo Scavenger, maybe like that's kind of like a Dark Days Ahead light for decisions making and what your character is capable of doing. Someone in chat is saying Tyranny. It's fun being DM because I plan out the NPCs' murder tactics, and it's so much fun watching the players try and put pieces together. Yeah, the fact that you have NPCs along there too is really interesting to me. Did you say how many players you have?
A few friends.
A few friends. How many playable characters do you have there along with the NPCs? I'd be interested to hear about that. I haven't played Neo Scavenger Drive. I watched a brief Let's Play introduction of it to see what it was all about.
4 players and then 12 NPCs.
That's cool. I really like that. That's a good mix. And then you don't even know if it's an NPC or another player that's committed the murder while you're in there too. Oh man, that sounds like fun. I think I would really, really enjoy that. Some people in chat are interested in hearing about the rules and how it's all set up. Yeah, I don't think I have an answer for you. Sorry. I think maybe that's it'd be so difficult for a game to do that, right? Anything with a big budget usually has decisions that you can make no matter what your character is, and your build doesn't really matter. And even other games that do have, like even New Vegas is probably the first one that came to mind, but even then, like the results of those changes are quite minor, you know? You're not really gated out of doing almost anything because of New Vegas, at least from what I remember. Still in Sushi to play Neo. I think I would enjoy it, but I think it would take me a while to get into it. And I've always been interested in trying to see Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Just looks like it's a game that is quite difficult to get into again. No, I'm coming up blank. Like the most I can think of gameplay would be something around a Souls-like, where you have so many different movesets and so many different ways to build your character, and it actually matters because it's not just about stats and dice rolls and for weapon damage and everything. It really changes how your character feels to play. But even then, I wouldn't say that's all that good. You know, it is interesting, but it's like nowhere near what your example came up with. You could say the same thing about Fallout, right? Well, no. Like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, All the melee weapons feel the same there. They don't in that. There's magic and spells, I don't know. Okay. What was the next question? Sorry, Action Cater, I can't come up with anything. Hopefully someone in chat had some answers.
If you were playing in my Danganronpa game, what talent would both you pick?
Oh, God.
Keeping in mind, you would pick a talent that would fit into one of 4 departments at my version of Hope's Peak. It would either go into the science, arts, sports, or services department, like a mechanic would be in services, but an engineer would be in science. But otherwise, it's a very free field, although you can't be a detective or forensic scientist because I know that that is OP in a murder mystery.
Keep going. Let's read this part now.
Sorry if my questions were too pointlessly long, but a lot of things in life that are worth having are pointlessly long. Anders Pickle.
Anders Pickle.
Thanks for stuffs. Have a good puff. Also, I agree. It's either meese or gooses. You can't have neither.
Exactly. Now these questions are fun. They're difficult, but they're fun. So like my cheating answer would be that one of us could be the ultimate mystery writer, and then you could be like Castle from the show, and you could just force yourself into the detective role because you've written a lot of mysteries, so you understand them, so you can guess the ending because it has to have a satisfying ending. It's fucking bullshit sometimes in that show, but that's boring. So to repeat the categories: science, arts, sports, or services department. So I don't think I would try to kill someone. So I think I would try to pick something that would be entertaining and something that I could riff off in during trials. So what would be something that would have like a lot of like, I think like being so like the ultimate weeaboo would be really funny because then you could just make it all about anime references as something comes up. This is just like what happened to Goku in episode 57 of Dragon Ball Z, but it would be like I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't have the anime knowledge to pull that off, but I think that would be a funny thing to go with. Like Ultimate Gamer, like Seth BS just said it in chat, would be less like Chiaki and more about being able to make a bunch of gamer references in that cringy kind of weeaboo way. Maybe like the ultimate cringer. Where are you going with it?
I don't know. I don't remember this part of Danganronpa.
Everyone has like their own ultimate ability, so like Aoi was like the ultimate athlete, and Sakura was the ultimate martial artist, and one of them was the ultimate detective. Another one was the ultimate baseball player.
So they don't really have any like not necessarily like a mystery purpose.
Yeah, it's usually
an athlete doesn't have any more capability than.
No, they do. It's just like an athlete would be able to pull things off. Sometimes it is used in the murder. Mm. One of my players is the ultimate lawyer. Oh, that seems like it might be cheating a little bit with the detective thing. Another is the ultimate porn expert, so it's very freeing.
My 2 thoughts, which have nothing to do with one another. My first thought, probably because they said porn, was an escort.
Okay.
That I thought you could be the ultimate escort, would be very charming and very charismatic and would like know her way around people and be able to maybe manipulate people.
That would be a good one.
My second thought was because they said forensic scientist, then I thought maybe you could be like some kind of a surgeon and everything, and you would understand like how the systems work and stuff like that. But that wasn't as interesting to me. That was just my second thought and I couldn't really make it fit. So maybe I would be like the ultimate escort.
Mm. The ultimate gigolo.
Because they seem to have like maybe like a better way of reading people, because they work with people in that way.
Be like the ultimate bouncer in a really bad club. So you've seen a lot of shit. You've seen a lot of bodies. You've seen a lot of stuff. So you have experience, but it's a very raw, like uneducated experience. So you always have some input.
Also, you can be from whatever country you want. Also, one of my players was the ultimate cosplayer, but was actually a spy from North Korea trying to infiltrate this prestigious university.
Wow, they went crazy with it.
Yes, they did. No one found out he was a spy.
Okay, you know what, Action Cater? I want time to think about this. I will answer this properly next stream. I want to think about this. Let me mull it over and see. Like, maybe I can come up with a couple with some backstories. Maybe I think I would go for like a couple that I'm never gonna plan a murder, and then I would think of one like how would I plan a murder going in, and what kind of ability would I like to use. So I guess I'm the ultimate procrastinator. Because
I'm keeping escort. I go escort. You'll have to like. I'll be able to look you in the eye, you know, like, and you can't lie to me because, you know, with my big ass thigh high boots. You know.
Like the ones you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the ultimate procrastinator would be pretty funny. I think you could get some real funny stuff off that. You're always late answering the questions in the trial. You whenever you do finally speak, everyone listens because it's like, whoa, what the fuck, you know, like. You plan to kill someone and then someone does it before you can.
The ultimate procrastinator. I will kill you tomorrow.
I think that would be funny. How long have we been live for? When did we start? A little after midnight, right? I think we've been live for... Actually, I can tell because
it was at 12:30. We started late. After 12. Or was it right at 12?
We've been live for 2 hours exactly. I'm okay to go for like another half hour. What about you?
Okay.
You okay?
I'm not tired like last
So
time.
we were supposed to start at 11 p.m. our time and not midnight. 10 p.m. Eastern, not 11 p.m. Eastern. But I forgot about time zones when I did that title earlier. So yeah, I was supposed to only stream for 7 hours, not 8 hours. So yeah, I just messed up that title. So oh well. Anyway, so let's do at least one more on Patreon. Are there any that have been asked repeatedly in chat that we've missed? And while they come back up, thank you to Dallas Viper 109 for the 22-month resub. Thank you very much, Dallas Viper. We haven't done it in a while. Do you want to?
Sorry, to who?
To Dallas Viper.
Oh, Clawfist.
I love how you ask to who when you don't say their name.
Yeah, I felt like I needed to acknowledge it. You can't just give a Clawfist blindly to anybody.
This is true. When is Chantilly's A Tale of Two Sisters stream? What? That sounds like weeb stuff to me. Do you accept Steam gifts? I don't. I don't accept any Steam gifts at all. It's been my policy for a while, sorry. I don't accept keys from anyone either for any reason. How does the traversal gameplay in Death Stranding compare to the masters of the genre, such as Q-Wop and Getting Over It? It's comparable. I think it's a lot more accessible than those games, and much more boring. I think Q-Op is just straight up bad, though, whereas Getting Over It is actually really, really good. So that would be the difference. I don't know where... Death Stranding will probably be in the middle. I don't think the game gets much from it, but if it had that system on top of some other movement options, then I think it would be better. The problem I'm having right now is that it's really easy to cheese your way through everything. I feel like there have been lots of times where I should have fallen over and taken a hit, and I didn't. And there have been times where I have fallen over and taken a hit just because I was just really dumb and I wasn't holding down the button hard enough. Like, I know how stupid that sounds, but that's true. There have been things I've been able to do with the bike that I feel like shouldn't be possible, and I can still do them. And even the animations look really, really bad when you're falling over some rocks and going downstairs and stuff, or down some slopes. So yeah, it's a bit all over the place. Joe, I'm dying, but if you accept the Steam key, my cancer will be cured. Oh, guess you're gonna die. Thank you, Aslam, for the 19-month resub. Hello, Datapon, Anders Owie. I love Owie, man. Hey, Owie. Thank you for the 19-month resub, Aslam. 19 months in which one?
I just the Cringe Cafe.
The Cringe Cafe.
Head. Like, do they want a mortifying mocha or like a ludicrous latte? Or a cringy cappuccino?
Or a Shih Tzu shot.
Ooh, okay. A vivacious vodka.
Ooh. Damn, this Cringe Cafe, like,
It's very well supplied.
it's hard liquor. Damn. Out of 10, how much fun are you having with Death Stranding? As a game, 2. As a stream, 10. It's such a great stream. I'm having so much fun playing it for stream. Pretty fucking boring.
Maybe it could be one of those like speakeasy kind of
Oh.
like underground, where you have to like knock 3 times on the door and then someone pokes their head out, you know, and then you have to say the password.
What's the password?
Waffles
Or Shih Tzu?
or Datapon.
Datapon?
Maybe it would change every week so people don't know.
I forgot to say that on stream. Did I forget to say it on stream? Sorry, I've streamed for like fucking like 16 hours almost the past 2 days. Did I tell you guys on stream that I tried to change my Sony name, ID name, to Waffles Datapon, and it was taken? Waffles Datapon, all one word because you're not allowed spaces, was taken. So then I did Waffles hyphen Datapon, taken. Waffles underscore Datapon, taken. They were all 3 of those were taken. So which one of you motherfucking weebs stole my name? So I had to be Yusuke Lover 69 because all 3 Waffles Datapons were taken. How is that even possible? Like, I know that the Persona 5 streams were fairly popular, but they weren't that fucking popular. What the shit? Can't believe it. You know what? It was really, really weird. Okay, should I say this? Because... Fuck it, I'll say it, because it'll be fun. When I was playing Path of Exile, my character name was Waffles Datapon. And or it was Waffle Datapon, and I was trolling in chat a lot, and while I was playing, and one time I was trolling, and someone messaged me and was like, "Oh man, your name, that's a great reference," and I'm just like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Yeah, oh man, those streams were really fun." And he's like, "Yeah, like, do you?" He's like, have you watched any Joseph Anderson videos? I'm like, yeah, I've watched them all. Like, oh yeah, oh cool, really? Like, yeah, like, do you watch the streams too? I'm like, yeah, I've been there for all of them. And he's like, oh really? You've been there for all of them? Yeah, yeah, I have.
I remember you telling me that. They didn't know.
They didn't know. Waffle Datapon. Anyway, next person on Patreon. Maybe we can do 2 or 3 more.
Anthony W. says, "Hey Joe.
Hey Anthony.
How would you differentiate between a game that is addictive and a game that is fun? Where do you draw the line between a game that exploits the human psyche to keep people playing versus a game that keeps people playing by providing new and unique experiences? When does it become immoral?" That's that. There's another question after, but it's not relevant to that one.
This is very hard. Very, very, very hard. I don't think I'm qualified to say when it becomes immoral. I would say a good sign of when it becomes immoral is if there's a financial incentive to have the person continue playing it. So anything from a clicker game that shoves microtransactions at you, if a mobile game that wants to withhold the dopamine hit of getting a new upgrade or anything, or those games like those Cityville type games where you're building a city with different things that you get, like new structures with in-game currency, and you can wait or you can buy it, and skip the queue and everything. I would say that's when it's getting close to immoral. I don't know enough about ethics to say outright, yeah, that is immoral or not. I don't know if these developers and these businesses have a moral obligation to prevent you from doing that. I have no idea. Because if they do, then we get into stuff like suddenly trading card games are probably immoral or close to immoral, and something like Hearthstone is currently immoral. And I don't know. I have no idea where to draw that line, but I would say that there are definitely examples you could find that are really really close to it. I would say a good way of differentiating whether something is trying to addict you rather than enthrall you with genuine gameplay concepts and like is really got a lot to do with The Witcher. Because of course it does. Now it has. I bring this up in the Witcher video, but it has a lot to do with filler. So I think that the idea, I've been thinking about filler a lot because I feel like a lot of games have filler combat systems, as we spoke about a little earlier, and I think Witcher 3 is one of them. Witcher 1 and 2 also, but mostly Witcher 3. But like it's not crime just about Witcher. Like there's a lot of other games that are the same way. And the definition that I've settled on for filler is when the game is making you do something time and time again. I would say if it's like if you were to play 1-1 in Mario and then the next level like 1-2 is just 1-1 again, I would say that's filler because it is such a big chunk of content that you're repeating. It doesn't even have to be right away either. It could be like 1-1 like later on. You're just doing it again. Here you go. I would say that would be filler. Whereas if it's just the same type of enemy that you're fighting and you're fighting it a couple times, I wouldn't say that would be filler. It has to be done more than just once for it to qualify as filler. I would say when the gameplay and what you're doing is filler, but you're still compelled to continue, then the game has you addicted instead of genuinely engaged with its systems. Filler isn't always bad, and there are degrees of filler. There can be light filler. Filler might even be used well if it's to add context to something, but I would say by and large it's probably a bad thing in most cases. It's really tricky to nail down this definition though, which is why I wanted to play Devil May Cry 5 because I needed some footage of a combat system that's very different than than Witcher, but also wasn't Dark Souls because I have a challenge and also a running joke in the series that I try not to mention Dark Souls for 9 hours. So Devil May Cry 5 and those types of games do throw the same types of enemies at you over and over and over again. Sometimes it can even be in the same arrangement. Sometimes it can even be in the same kind of arenas. There's not that much different to them. But they are allowed to do that because their combat systems are so complex and have such a high allowance for experimentation that every single combat interaction can become something new for a very long time. It is very unlikely that anyone who plays those games is ever going to exhaust the combat system and those enemies and all those options to the point that they can say it becomes filler. Because first of all, they have to see all those different interactions. They have to experiment with all the different ways that all the movesets interact with each other, and then they have to get so good at it that they're capping out their skill meter and also their enjoyment as well. And only then would it can be considered filler. And at that point, you've already got so many hours out of it that no one in their right mind is going to say, yeah, this is filler. So that's how they can get away with it. So I would say that if that's a good indication of where something is trying to addict you rather than get you really into the game mechanics. There probably is a different distinction than that, something else. But I don't know if I can give something close to an objective assessment like I can with like the filler distinction. At least I can't think of one right now. I will say that it's something that should be fairly obvious though. I think that this game is something that tries to addict you more than make you engage. And it probably also fits in with filler as well, but I'm not sure. I think it might get away with that because every day is the chance to do a couple different things and you choose them yourself, right? But yeah, I would say that it can walk a fine line, and I'm not sure if addiction games are really all that bad. They can be some really lighthearted fun and you can just sink into it. But then again, addiction carries such a bad connotation to it that maybe it is, and maybe we should find a different word for that sort of thing. Maybe there's like benign addiction that needs a different kind of thing. I don't know. There was some criticism I received for the Stardew Valley video. Actually, it's relevant here. That I was praising an addiction kind of game, and that we should get to the point that the gamer should be having a really serious conversation about that, and discussing why addiction game loops are really really bad. And I definitely agree for the most part, but I think that we should probably work on really figuring out what that is and how to identify them. I wonder if we got to that point. I wonder if they could just be banned outright, but who's gonna test it, man? I don't know. I think it's a trap to say that addiction is something that you feel and therefore it can be identified. You know, if a game is addicting, you know, we just need to look and see if anyone is addicted to it, and then we know, right? I think that's a trap, because you can get addicted to anything. Anything at all can become an addiction, you know? Doing your makeup can becoming addiction, you know? Like, social media is a really obvious one. Spending time with your dog, you know, anything can become an addiction. So I don't think that's a really a fair way of judging it. Do you have anything to say about that? Do you think you have any insight?
Not really.
No? It's fine if you don't.
No.
Just thought from an outsider's perspective, you might have.
Like you said, anything can become an addiction.
You've dealt with addiction with me. Like there was a time where I was addicted to World of Warcraft, and you just put up with it. So like, is there any insight from having to deal with me in that time that you think that you could, or do you not really remember it all that well? It's fine if you don't. Just
I remember, but you just used to make a lot of excuses. Like, it was like the only thing that you were really into. So I felt like for me to try and take that away from you was like me being cruel or me being selfish, or, you know, like.
Really?
Yeah.
It's too nice of you.
It started pretty much right from when we first started dating, right? Like, I remember I used to be really, really mad before we were living together, because I would come over to see you and you'd want to play the game. And I would get bored. I remember I would bring homework with me so I had something to do while I was there. But you'd be like splitting your time between me and talking to other people through typing. You weren't like talking to them like with me there, but you know.
Well, that came later.
That
but
came
I think
when we were living together.
I think I was less addicted to it then, right? Would you agree with that?
You were less then, but it got worse around the time we like the first year or two we were first living together, I think. Like 2007, 2008. I remember it being quite a lot then.
That was Burning Crusade, Wrath. Yeah, I would agree with that.
2008,
Yeah.
2009, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, those were the hardest years. Yeah.
And then it dropped off after that. But even as recent as like I would say like 2010, 2009, somewhere there. I remember that was when I would come home from work at around like 5:00, and you'd want to raid, and then you would say, "Oh, I'm going to be done at this time." And we didn't have very good internet, remember? So I couldn't do certain things because I would drop off the internet.
Yeah.
I couldn't go on blogs or like look at pictures and stuff because I would fuck up the internet, and then.
Oh no, I feel really bad right now.
Sorry,
oh,
you asked
shit.
me.
I know. I asked you. It's fine.
So I'd come home and,
I feel
like
really bad.
You'd be done. I'm gonna be done at 10 or whatever, and then you'd get talking to them afterward, and it would be like another hour or something, and I'd be like, well, I just kind of want to go to bed, like. So, but what am I gonna say? Like, that's the only thing you really, and you were dealing with the narcolepsy, and you weren't happy, and like.
I know.
You know, all your friends were on there. That was the main issue. Was like I would go to work and I had my work friends and stuff, right? But then they were the friends that you were talking to were linked with that. Mm-hmm. So like I was like depriving you then of social contact and like having friends by depriving you of playing the game. So I always felt kind of torn about it.
You were too nice. Definitely too nice. No, it was really bad. Yeah. Completely addicted to World of Warcraft for sure. But is World of Warcraft built to be addicting? Would that even count? Because I kind of feel like it wouldn't.
Just say one more thing too.
Sure.
I always used to think of it like this, and maybe this is wrong to think of it like this, but I always thought there were girls and stuff that I knew that I worked with or that I had as friends, and they had friends that were in the city, and they would go out and meet up with their friends, and they'd go to a bar and they'd drink, or they'd go out and whatever they were doing, they'd go to a game or whatever, and they'd be out until like 2 in the morning. And I always felt like at least I knew where you were, like you couldn't really like be out cheating on me when you were sitting right there leading a raid, like it
That's true.
was, so like maybe that's the wrong way to think about it, but I always thought I kind of maybe I made an excuse for it too, where I was like,
In
at least I
terms
know where you are, and at least I know who you're talking to, and
in terms
I
of
know
addictions,
what's going
it's a
on.
benign one, right? Well, not it's a benigner one compared to like
Like you weren't out drinking and coming home
it
drunk all the
was.
time, and you weren't high all the
I
time.
think
Like there's
that
other addictions that would have probably caused more problems between us. You know.
I think that from my family history and the kind of personality I have, I think that I was gonna have one great addiction in my life, no matter what. And looking back, if it was between World of Warcraft or vodka,
Well,
I think I would have vastly
that's kind of
I
your
would go back and
personality,
choose World
right?
of Warcraft again, than having to have fucking like go down that hole or even something worse like cocaine or something.
It's kind of your personality too, and I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I don't know. If you were more susceptible to it, maybe. Like you always seem to be an all in or nothing kind of person. You either go in and attack something or you don't do it at all. And it's like that was like that with the writing. It was like that now with work. It was like that with WoW. It was you commit completely and that's your thing, or it's not. So that could have been anything, right? That could have been drugs or alcohol or
Mm-hmm.
gambling or whatever. You just have that kind of quality. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but I'm not totally surprised either. Like there's kind of a pattern there. I remember with the writing, like you were just like shooting them out so fast, and like you were putting in so many hours, and there was a payoff, sure, but I knew the payoff was there too, and I wasn't writing as fast as you.
Do you think that so many people get addicted to those types of games? It's not always World of Warcraft. Sometimes it's EverQuest and stuff too. Those types of mix of social interactions and also those. There's a lot to do in those games, and they also want you to keep you playing for the monthly subscriptions. But I would really be hesitant to say that those are purposefully built up to get you addicted to them. I think they are addicting, but I think I don't know. I kind of feel like it's if you get addicted to World of Warcraft, it's your fault. It's not the game's fault. That's really hard. I think that would be a really good one to try to figure out. Do you think that it's the game, or do you think it's the people, or do you think it's both?
I think it's both, but I think it's largely the people. Because even when the raid was done, you would want to stay on and talk to people.
Yeah, but
And
that's
that
only
links into
because of the
social,
game.
that's kind of social media ish though, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wanted to be there for the people. You didn't really seem to want to play it on your own. You wanted to be there for a raid. You wanted to be there and interacting with people and guiding them and telling them how to do this fight or that fight or whatever.
Yeah, without the rating, the game was dead to me. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was that involved other people, right? So or at least it involved like one other person. Sometimes you would play with like one other person, but that was about it, right? So it seemed for you anyway that there was a direct connection there with the other people. And like I said, you didn't really know anybody here. So again, if you were still in Britain and you had friends to go out with all the time, would you have still taken to WoW as much as you did, or were you more susceptible because you don't have any friends here?
That's true.
If you had me here and I was willing to just sit there and do whatever, right? So read a book. Or,
Well, yeah, when
I was accommodating.
right around the time World of Warcraft was, it was either like it was kind of like go back to Britain or stay here with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to stay here with you. We had barely been back in Canada for when that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it's like a combination of things of like personality or your life situation that kind of makes you more craving maybe that social interaction, and there were people on there and you got to know them all and you knew their stories. You used to tell me about them, and they're from this place and they're from that place, and
What's AQW? I disagree, Joe. I disagree, Joe. Friends who are addicted are a major problem for breaking addiction, and they know that. I doubt WoW knew it first, but they knew before too long. But then, like, WoW was its own money beast, and the company has a obligation to keep its employees employed, right? So suddenly they're relying on this big engine that's printing so much money, and they realize that it might be exploitative to their customers. I mean, I guess they leaned into it, so I guess it is a sign that Blizzard isn't all that innocent here, but I feel like they didn't lean into it until Cataclysm, maybe even Draenor. I don't know how late that I felt like they really started leaning into it when it comes to soda cocaine dealers. Yeah, but cocaine is like inherently, no one gets into dealing cocaine and is like, no, this is fine. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knows what cocaine is.
I'm the question asker. Anthony W., by the way, so if the questions are unclear in any way, let me know. What about shows that sacrifices its art to make you want to watch the next episode or season?
I mean, I don't like it, but at the same time, it's something I'm willing to look the other way for, because I understand that art is also a product now, and almost all the art that we will consume, apart from I think like music and books, is in some way also has to be a product and has to hit a certain amount of profit. I think most games are going to be there too. A TV show is going to be the obvious one. They're just so expensive to make now. Movies as well. Cliffhangers suck, but they're also really effective. Excuse me, they're also really effective. It's like sometimes TV shows and movies will have to have a moment where they have to explain something that they shouldn't really have to explain, or they have to explain some theme in a very blunt way. Or they have a character do some really, really dumb shit, like that idea of the like who's holding the idiot ball. I would say that that's sacrificing some art in order to move some stuff along. Again, it depends on how it's done. I don't like it though. In a perfect world, it wouldn't happen. Trying to think of an example. I'm trying. What I'm really trying to think of right now is, did Breaking Bad ever do that? Did Breaking Bad ever sacrifice its art in order to keep people watching? And I kind of feel like maybe it did. But Breaking Bad is still like critically renowned, and I think it's a really great show. I'm trying to think if 6 Feet Under ever did. I kind of think maybe it did. I think the only one that didn't, that I can think of, that I consider to be like those high caliber TV shows, is probably The Wire. I don't think The Wire ever pulled that shit. But I don't think The Wire is that popular. It's not like, it wasn't a phenomenon like these other shows. It did really well, but it's way fewer people have watched The Wire than Breaking Bad. Black Mirror is an anthology, and I haven't watched the new one, so I can't tell. But yeah, Black Mirror I don't think has ever compromised itself.
6 Feet Under did.
Honestly, I thought Breaking Bad had a very slow start. Death Stranding levels. I agree with you. I think that the first season of Breaking Bad is really, really overappreciated, and that's coming from someone who really loves the show. I also think the ending is a bit overappreciated too. But then there's something I read about that in about Breaking Bad that kind of pissed me off, and I was like, oh, okay, this wasn't as carefully put together as I thought it would, or as I thought it was. This is okay. There's at the beginning of I think season 4. Okay, this is a minor spoiler for Breaking Bad, and I do want to stress minor. There's a scene at I think the beginning of season 4, and maybe someone in chat can correct me which episode it is, where there's a reveal that someone has a heavy machine gun in the trunk of their car. Does anyone who's like a Breaking Bad like connoisseur can pinpoint the episode what that was? Like, I'm pretty sure they know what I'm talking about.
Season 5?
It wasn't in season 5. I think it was in season 4. I remember it was different between seasons. Or maybe it's because wasn't season 5 split into 2 seasons? Maybe that's why season 5 feels like season 5 and 6 put together. And I remember reading an interview where the creator said that they did that and they had no idea what it was for. They put that in the trunk of the car in that scene, and they were like, that's going to be a big wow moment. And then after they were done writing that, they were like, okay, what's that going to be for?
Oh wow.
And that was like, that blew my mind, because it doesn't,
We'll figure it out later.
it doesn't, like, the show doesn't read like that. Like, they pulled it off really, really well, but it really made me kind of question, like, the craft of that story. It was like, oh, okay, wow, they really lucked out there, because that could have gone really bad. But yeah, I feel like the finale of Breaking Bad is really good, but it's still a bit overappreciated. I don't think it's the best ending of any TV show ever. It is up there, but it's not the best. Anyway, but yeah, I think that it's okay. It depends on how it's done for compromising. I think some compromises are fine. And I think it's just, it's a balancing act of how many compromises are you going to do until you fall off. And I think that a lot of shows and a lot of art in general, maybe even I might be guilty of it at some point in the future if I'm not already, can have this slippery slope of good intentions where they think, okay, well, I'll just compromise a little bit. I need to keep people engaged. I need to keep people watching. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I've fallen right off the deep end and I've lost sight of it. I think that's what happens to quite a lot of artists and a lot of creators when it comes to the stuff that they make. I think that's all I can say about that. What does that matter if the delivery is good? What's the problem? It doesn't matter big time because they did pull it off, but we could have easily been in a different timeline where that was never explained and it was just a complete letdown. I would argue that it isn't all that satisfying. Sorry, like it's good. I'm not even saying this because I don't want to piss off the Breaking Bad fans. I actually really, really enjoy Breaking Bad. But I feel like that could have been done a little better considering how it was teased at and hinted at, but I find that as a viewer and someone who consumes media, it doesn't really matter if something's accidental or intentional. It's fine. But as someone who also constructs stories and analyzes this kind of stuff in my own like amateur way, I am very much more impressed by things that are done on purpose and are like, this is what we wanted to do. This is what the plan we had. We had decision the whole time. Like, that impresses me way more than, yeah, we just did it and just hoped that it would turn out all right. Like that's, it just scares the shit out of me too. But yeah, I find it less impressive. Does Anthony W have another question?
Sorry.
Sorry, she gave me a weird look and I just kind of like backed off, like, what's going on?
No, I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry if I made you feel bad or anything.
No, you
didn't.
With
what I said, because I didn't want to make you feel bad.
No, I'm the one. I'm the one that brought it up. I'm very open that I was addicted.
I know, but maybe you didn't want me to be that open.
No, I've said it before on stream, and I feel
too honest.
I feel like people don't believe me. Like I've said I was addicted to World of Warcraft. That's not a joke. That's not me like being like, haha, I'm so bipolar because I have some mood swings sometimes. Like, no, like I was addicted to World of Warcraft. Like. If it ever got to the point that I would have to have sucked a dick to continue playing World of Warcraft, I would have given a little nibble while I did it, be a little rebel, but I would have sucked that dick, man, like it would have happened. But thankfully I've never had to suck a dick, so I'm okay. Like I feel like people are like in the same position right now with, like, I keep saying that I'm going a little crazy making the Witcher video, and it's like, ha ha ha, it's like, no. Like, no. It's not a joke. But anyway, let's tell them the story of what happened today with Finn. So So, I have a Paw Patrol Band-Aid on my finger right now, because I cut my finger, and I cut my finger in the stupidest fucking way. I reached in. Okay, so we're savages, and when we put like a pack of 12 cans of soda in the fridge, we put the whole box in the fridge, and then we open the box, and you have to open the fridge, reach into the box, and grab the can out of the box. We don't just have loose cans in the fridge,
We don't roll
or
like that.
or stacked up and like on something. Like we just have the whole box just boom right in the fridge. So I cut my finger like actually fairly deeply. It's like a really deep paper cut. It hurt like a bitch. I put my hand in to grab a can of Coke this morning, and I pulled it out, and there was like, the glue that holds like the cardboard flaps together. It had dried in this really like awkward sharp pointy way. There was like a razor like needle point of this dried glue on the cardboard flap, and it like bit right into my index finger and slid it like an inch down, and it bled quite a bit. So I put a band-aid on it, and it's fine. It was hurting a little bit playing the game today, but it was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, so being the scumbag dad with a heart of gold that I am, I decided to make my ow into a lesson for the kids. So I was like, Finn was like immediately eyes like a hawk. What that, daddy? What that, daddy? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have an ow. Like how did you get it? How did you get the ow? And I wanted this to be, a lesson for the kids. Like, oh, I got this ow because I wasn't listening to mommy. Mommy told me not to do something, and I did it anyway. And then I got hurt. Like trying to be like, hey, listen to your mother, or maybe you might do something you're not supposed to, and you might hurt yourself, and then you might get an ow too, right? So I was like, so he's like, how did you hurt yourself? And I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to think, how could I have cut my finger in a way that he's not supposed to do? So we just recently got a new dishwasher. So I said to him, I put my hand in the dishwasher when I wasn't supposed to, and I cut my finger, and it was, and I wasn't supposed to do that. And he just looks at me considering, and he's like, listen to mommy? I'm like, no. And then you got hurt? He goes, yeah. And he says, mommy hit you? Mommy cut your finger? Because, listen. No.
I have to give him extra hugs and kisses tomorrow now.
Anyway, sorry, Anthony W. What was the next question?
What are your thoughts on career progression as a streamer YouTuber versus a more traditional white-collar job? How is its stability, its ceiling? Loved, love, and will love your content. Thanks a bunch. Here's a heart.
Thank you, Anthony W. or Ant Dude in chat, if Ant Dude is still around. Okay, so I still feel like I'm pretty new to the rap game. I feel like I don't have any authority to speak on this sort of thing whatsoever. First, like I'm not one of the like the old guard at all when it comes to YouTube, and I like it's been like 4 years now, right? So I guess I should just smarten up and be like, yeah, I guess I do have something to say, and I do have some knowledge that I can share about this sort of thing, but I feel like I'm just winging it almost the whole time. I feel like it's very unstable, and I feel like it could fall apart at any moment. I feel like every single time YouTube makes a change, I say to Lily sometimes just out loud, this is it, it's over, like this is going to be the one that kills all the views, or our entire channel is going to be completely demonetized, and that's going to be the end, or views are going to be fine, but like monetized views are going to get cut in half, or this is the copyright strike that's going to like take us to court, or like when like God of War got took down, and I was like, all right, this is it, what the fuck are we going to do, and we still haven't gotten the money from that. I think that's like, it's at least $3,000 USD that's just sitting there. It might even be actually more than that. I don't know. From that whole entire time that it was copyright claimed, for I think 3 months it was stuck there somehow. It should have only been 2 months, but Yeah. And that's not counting the time when the video was just down completely. Yeah, it definitely feels unstable, but whether it feels unstable is not the same as if it is unstable. It might just be all in my head, or it might just be because I consider myself extremely lucky to have this job, and I always feel like I'm lucky to have it, that if I'm not completely like worried about it and anxious about it, then someone's gonna take it away from me. You know, like I spoke about this, I think, on last stream or last Q&A, or maybe it was just during one of the normal streams. It's like I have a very unhealthy relationship with work, and my view of work. It was during Code Vein. One of my views on work is that if you're not miserable, then you're not working hard enough. And I don't know where that came from, but I think it's probably a fairly common thing that Westerners have. And I say Westerners because that's the only people that I really know. I don't know if it's the same in other parts of the world, but I feel like in general, Westerners are more capitalist, hoorah, rah, rah, profit, profit, profit. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but that's how I feel. But yeah, I feel like if you're not miserable, you're not working hard enough, you know? And my job is really great. So I'm often having a really good time when I'm working, which means I'm obviously not working hard enough. So put more hours in, you know? I am, chronically aware that there are people that would kill to have my job, and I want to be, worthy of it. So that, I think, makes me think that it's more unstable than it is, because it's like, okay, how is this going to get taken away? I think it is legitimately unstable in some ways, though, considering that YouTube is not very forthcoming with the changes that they make to the platform, but that's also because they don't even know how it works themselves. The algorithm is such a complicated thing that I don't think there's any one single person on the entire planet, never mind in Google's headquarters, that can understand any of those top algorithms that those top companies use. It's just not something that's possible to comprehend, and that's probably a good thing. So there is some instability that comes from there. I think that it is quite lucrative in the sense that it's almost like playing a game. It's almost like playing Stardew Valley. I don't know if there are any white collar jobs that are like this, but if you are doing it in even a moderately intelligent way, which I don't, every hour of work that you put into the channel or your online platform should have better and better returns constantly, even if it's only very, very small growth. Like if you are working every single day and it's like every single day you get a raise, but that raise is only a penny, like that really adds up over time, and it can really get there. The reason why I say I don't really do it moderately intelligently is because there's a very long gaps between my content, and even there's long gaps between the streams, so that momentum can reset itself and can get lost. But you can see that happening, especially early on when you're in it. It's like, okay, it's first we're making very, very, very little amounts. Now we're making slightly more, and that slightly more just keeps building. And there might be the occasional big spikes where it's like, okay, boom, okay, this video was a hit. Now the base rate as it settles back down is moderately more than what it was before, but it keeps going up. It's pretty amazing, and it can be I don't know, like enthralling in its own right, kind of. But I don't know where the ceiling is. I am still quite a small YouTuber, a small content creator, a very small streamer. And there are people that have much larger audiences than me and make way more money than me. And this is the reason why I bring up money, is because it's part of the question. But even to them, they probably consider themselves as like a medium fish compared to the much top end people that are way above them, right? So it keeps scaling up. Like there's the channels like mine that are like middling before, like they haven't even got 1 million subs yet, and then there are people with 1 million subs to 4 million subs, the people like Donkey, and then there are people that are even way bigger than them, like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, that sort of thing. And then I don't even know if there are any tiers in between those, right? Like what's the difference between 1 million subs and 4 million subs? I think Internet Historian is almost at 2 million, right? So what's the difference between him and Donkey, who's I think between 4 and 5 million? Maybe Donkey's even higher than that. I'm not sure anymore. Is there a bigger difference between 2 million subs and 5 million subs in terms of engagement and revenue than there is between someone who has 400,000 subs and someone who has 150,000 subs? I would say that it probably isn't. I think that there's a bigger difference between 150K to 400K than there is between 2 million and 5 million. But then you get into the part of how many subs are actually active, or how many are like, what's the age of the channel. There might be a lot of dead subs in that group, and so it's hard to gauge. So you have to look at active subs, and those numbers are very difficult to find. You have to look at views instead. But then it's like, okay, well, are those views coming because people don't like the content anymore, or is it because of dead subs? Yeah, I don't know where the ceiling is. I don't think we're ever going to hit the ceiling. I don't want to do this forever. This is not what I want to do forever. If it is what I end up doing forever, or like until I can't do it anymore, I would be happy with that. I would be content. But this is not what I want to do forever. I want to make games, and I feel like I've been pretty open about that for the past few months since the streams come back. That's the end goal for me, is to use the money that we're making and saving up from all the content that we're making now, and among other things, like, you know, moving and making sure the kids are set up, and that they have a good chance in life, but it's also to make a game. You know, that's what I want to do, and I would be very happy if I could transition into doing fewer videos, streaming, and game dev with the most of my time. But if I do make a game and it's successful enough to be for sale, then I don't know if I can still make videos in good faith. Like, or if I do, they'd have to change into something else. Like, I don't know. But anyway, that's not your question. I don't know if where the ceiling is, and I can't really tell how stable it is for sure. But I would say it's probably not as unstable as a lot of other YouTubers, myself included, complain about when we are staring the barrel down of YouTube's latest greatest genius change. But at the same time, it's probably a lot less stable than a lot of people from the outside looking in think when they are maybe angry and shaking their fist thinking, I could do this way better if only I had the chance. And some of them might be right, but yeah. I don't know. I feel very, 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 very lucky to be in the position that I'm in. And I feel like that is probably making me have some unhealthy thoughts when it comes to work, but they're not going to go away. I'm hoping that after The Witcher's done, I'm going to be able to back off a bit. Well, back off more than a bit, actually. I'm hoping the streams can be kind of like a good way to test that, and a good way to reset how I'm looking at it. I feel like that wasn't as good of an answer in the conversation as the first question you asked, Antude. Is there any follow-up thing or anything you want to be clarified from that? Luck is just part of it. There's no true fairness. Yeah, luck is a huge part of it. I think that like, you do have to put in the work too, but you do have to also get lucky. Sometimes even having the skills or the personality or even the educational choices you made when you were a kid that resulted in you being the person that you can be to be successful can also be seen as luck. It's kind of weird. Pizza Hut, Papa John's, or Domino's. I prefer Domino's overall, although pan pizza from Pizza Hut is pretty good. I would say Papa John's is my least favorite. Now, I think it was cool to hear your perspective on this, and also to know that you've put loads of thought on it already. Thanks loads for your time. You're welcome, Matthew. Thank you for the questions. Oh man, that was a dark lightning strike. I think we should probably stop because we went on for a long time with the first answer there, right, about addiction. So unless the next one is next person is Nathan W. Is Nathan W here? Because if Nathan W is here, then we will answer this because this is actually pretty short. Sorry to say. If you are Nathan W. And what's the next one on Discord?
Firebug, who was here before. I don't know if he's still here. Or they're still here. I don't know if it's still he.
This is kind of related to what we just answered, right?
Mm. Yeah, it is.
That's all. We're gonna be repeating some of it actually. Sorry, Firebug. Yeah, let's do this and then we'll stop. Okay, but first, I need to say thank you to. You should have tried Waffles Leon Datapon. I think that would have maxed out the character limit on it, but yeah. Action Cater user on her business say, I need to do some homework, so here's the message I've been spamming in bit form. I'll see reaction tomorrow. Have a good one. Joe, Senna, and Lila, the wrestler. Imager. My layout for the Danganronpa science wing that I made. Oh, cool. Let's take a look. Zoinks, you've taken a wrong turn. Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay, I fixed it. It was, the hyperlink included the here's on your message, but no, I just deleted it and we're good. Alright. Science wing, broad belt, roundstone, botany lab. Oh man, this is cool.
Action Cater's still here. He never left because screw homework.
He never left?
No.
We would have saw the link, or someone would have linked it to me on Discord, or you could just send it to me. You didn't have to do bits for that, Action Caterer. Adult Film Review Studio. Oh, nice. Toys. Cosplay Studio. Oh man, this is a lot of work. Let us know how this goes. I'm really curious to see how this ends up. Tales from the Trenches. Oh, you donated again after that with another message. You want a show that had a plan from beginning to end? See Gravity Falls. It's a kid's show, but massive mystery throughout. Nothing feels too vague to be like that could mean anything. The opposite is Adventure Time, where the show started as nonsense and slowly started to make sense of its nonsense. Apparently, by the way, a massive writing trick for showrunners is leaving clues, not knowing where it goes, and then once fans speculate, they work with that and then go plan all along. Yeah, I've wondered about that. I've also read that there are some writers that will look at fan theories, and if anyone guesses the ending, then they change it, which sounds just completely fucking batshit to me. There was someone that theorized that about George R. R. Martin with Game of Thrones, that so many people guessed the ending that George R. R. Martin was like, well, fuck it, I'm not doing that then, I need to change it, and then he got stuck in a rut, and he couldn't find something good to change it, and now he's just not writing it anymore. Yeah, that sounds crazy. If someone guesses it, you just keep going, it's fine. But that's just hearsay. Not theorized, George confirmed. Did he really? He confirmed that's why he changed it because someone guessed? Fuck that. All my players are dead because the porn fanatic killed someone and got away. Oh man, what a good ending. What a good ending. Damn. I hope you do another round. A Dying Plant, Please Water Me has resubscribed for 4 months. Thank you very much, A Dying Plant, Please Water Me. I hope you get the water that you need. Welcome to 4 months in the Thirsty Thoughts.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, pretty good.
As a Lily, I especially hope you get that water.
Okay, let's go Firebug, and then we will call it a night.
But who is here, by the way?
How's it going, Firebug? So I think the answer to this question is going to have some repetition, but we'll try our best.
Firebug says, hi, Joe and Lily, long-time watcher, first-time spring salamander.
Ah.
How have you guys adapted to the YouTube streaming stuff? I know streaming can be stressful, and making game analysis video essays, or whatever you call them, is super unconventional. Joe always seems to do so much, going beyond what most people expect for their videos, even for a thorough review.
Do you think so? I think I'm about where I should be for the videos that are as long as mine. I don't know. I'll take the compliment though. Thank you. Do you want to talk a little bit? How do you think we've adapted to it?
I think we do okay.
We do okay?
I don't know if we do great, but I think, I don't know. The kids can make it a little bit challenging sometimes, but you just did a what, two 7 hour ish streams that were kind of impromptu and we managed, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Usually you go first and then I just kind of feed off what you say. I don't know what I want to say. You go. I got nothing.
Well, what do you think of how weird it is that there are people listening to us? Do you think?
Oh,
Do you
it's
think
very weird.
you've changed your perception of things? Has that changed you as a person at all? That there are, like right now, there's almost 300 people here, and I'm pretty sure only 50 of them are bots. So, so like, what do you think of that? Like,
It's very weird. It was I was talking to my grandmother last week on Saturday. She's like 85 and she's like the only relative I have now that I talk to as, like on the phone. And she called like Saturday around noon, I think, and you were asleep still, or 11 or something. She called and you were still asleep anyway. And she asked me about you and I said, "Oh, we were up really late last night. He's not up yet, but I had gotten up with the kids." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I said to her, we did a kind of radio show for people last night because I know she's not going to know what a stream is, right? So we did a kind of radio show
it's kind of like a radio
for
show.
a couple hundred people last night, and we didn't go to bed till like 5 in the morning. And you were up even later than that because after we streamed last week, we stopped at like 3:30 or 4, and I was hungry, so I went and had a snack before I went to bed. So I was still up at 5 in the morning anyway. So trying to explain it to her, and then she was asking some questions about it, and it's like, as I'm trying to explain it in ways that she might get it, which she humors me. She doesn't. I know she doesn't get it, but she's polite. She doesn't want to say she doesn't get it. But it's really most people don't really know what we do, so it's kind of like living a double life in a way, where some people know at certain levels, and some people have even checked out the videos and know about the streams and have subscribed and stuff like that. But for the most part, most of the people, we don't really go around advertising it, so most of the people don't really know what we do or what goes on. So even with the writing before this, like, people didn't know. We had electronic books, we weren't in bookstores, so most people didn't know we were writing. And it would be really weird me going to work and having fan mail when I got home, like, people, "I read your book and I loved it," and I was bussing tables all day, so it was really kind of backward in a way. But
Most of the time when you tell someone, they say, "Oh, and you make money doing that?" It's almost the exact same phrase too. Oh, and you make money doing that? What's really weird, and this might surprise some of you, there have been some game devs that I've spoken to about the videos, and they're talking to me about what something I said, and they've said to me, "And you make money with these videos?" You know what I mean? Like, even someone who's in the industry can sometimes struggle with this idea that you can make a living doing what we do on the YouTube. I think people understand the streams a little bit more though. I feel like there's always this assumption that the streams, that we make more money on Twitch, probably because most people do, but we don't. I guess if it was a full commitment, maybe it would be. I don't know, but I always feel like we cheated our way into being able to stream through the YouTube audience. So, I think that's why.
I think we handle it okay. I think we're a good team and that we managed to. It's a bit more challenging right now with Witcher because you're doing that all the time. So it's like that is like sole focus, like, blinders on, kind of like really focused on that right now. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic right now than it usually is. But I feel like we're managing it okay. But it hasn't gotten less weird for me. I still feel like double life, Especially since we left Toronto now too. I feel more isolated here.
Yeah,
I feel like
I do too.
I don't have any chance of running into anybody I know anymore. And I used to take, like, once a year, I'd take the kids to my old work and, like, see the people I used to work with and show them off a bit. And I don't have anybody here now to, to even meet for a coffee or anything. So I'm even more like in this online universe than I am now in real life.
Lily will have to dye her hair black and wear leather breeches to catch Joe's eye anymore. Nah. Although if you wanted to do that just for fun.
Well, my hair is almost black already, like naturally, so that's not fun.
I think we handle it well, the weirdness of it, but I don't think it's ever going to become normal. There especially when I have taken a break from streams, there are plenty of times where when I come back, but also sometimes when, it's just been like the normal break between weeks, I have my finger over the stream button on OBS and I'm like, who the fuck am I again? Like it's sort of like, it's like I don't really know if I'm prepared for this. Can I even do this? And then as soon as the stream goes live, I have this kind of huffing moment where I'm kind of like, all right, here we go, we're gonna start, how's it going, everybody? And it's just kind of like you just slip into being someone else almost. But I don't feel like I perform. There's always going to be some level of performance, because when you're streaming and talking to people, you're always voicing thoughts that you don't usually voice, that you usually just keep in your head internalized. So there's always going to be a little bit of that, but it's still me. But that also makes me feel really out of my depth and everything. Like I watch different videos and sometimes streams from some people. There's a compilation on YouTube that someone made. I think it's they made a bunch of Danganronpa highlights of the stream. Joseph Anderson Danganronpa highlights. K Michelani. So there's, that might show up right now. So there's oh wow, that's a lot of views. So there's these highlights here, and one of the highlights that they did was a comparison of the Nagito voices that me and two other streamers did, John Awesome and Nico B, and you can hear the difference between the other two and me, where it's like these two sound like they're I mean this in the best possible way. I do not mean this as criticism whatsoever, but they sound like they're on stage giving a performance. They sound like they are almost like got lines in their head prepared, which they don't. Like they're riffing off of this, but it feels like they have this idea of, what I want to be. I want to be the funny guy. I'm going to have this reaction. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. I'm going to, like they have that kind of like oomph to their lines and their jokes and their performances. And then there's me, and I just sound like a guy. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying my way is better, because I actually think it's not. But that's how I'm different. I'm just me. This is just me. If I'm ever funny, it's by accident. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here doing my thing, right? And that makes me feel like I am woefully underprepared sometimes, or unprepared sometimes. Like it's just like, holy shit, what am I even doing? And it makes this idea that, there might be a stream one day where I just fire up the stream and it's just like, oh, this is the one that ruined the career because I don't really know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That sort of thing, which probably won't ever happen, because it's just, I feel like there are lower expectations for me. But it's like, yeah, it's that's the difference between me and some other content creators. And I kind of feel like that's the same when it comes to YouTube as well. Like when I make a video for YouTube, I'm never thinking, okay, so I have this idea of what I want this emotional video to convey, and I better make sure that my performance matches this, and I have this like agenda almost of what I want to do, and I'm setting out to have this something to prove. It's always like, hey, I have this thing to say about this game or this idea, and I just want to talk about it. And sure, I'm going to make a persuasive essay and a persuasive argument because I just like constructing arguments, and that's just what I want to do. But it's just me and my thoughts. That's it. Like here's a list of my collected opinions, and if I ever get to feel out that during the writing that I can make something have like more of an emotional punch or weight to it, then great. But mostly it's just, hey, I'm just constructing arguments and having evidence support that arguments, and I just want the videos to flow as best as they possibly can, and that's it. That's what I want to do. And sometimes that makes me feel like almost a fraud almost, even though I think it's more honest and it's more genuine. But it makes me feel like fake because I'm not the same as, and I'm losing my voice a little bit. Sorry. Because I'm not doing what a lot of other channels are doing. You know what I mean? So it's weird. So there's this kind of duality of it too, of like, I feel like I'm being myself more than other creators, but I still also have to acknowledge that most people don't do what I do, and there's always going to be some amount of performance to it. Like, I'm speaking into a microphone. There's no one here listening to me. I have to enunciate differently than I usually do. Streaming has actually helped with that a lot, speaking more clearly when I'm recording. But even then, you can hear me sometimes. I don't enunciate very clearly. So it's like that sort of thing. It's this weird mix of being yourself, but also you kind of have to be someone else at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I think we handle it okay.
Something else that's weird to me is because we talk a lot about personal things, and we've been very honest, I think, and very transparent about.
Been a little too transparent, I think, but yeah, on streams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's 200 and something people here right now that know so much about our personal lives and about our family, and know more about certain things than people in like real life know. Like, the majority of people that I know don't even know I'm bipolar. But how many people here know about my mental issues? And
Do you think it's like a pseudo anonymity, really?
kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
It would be a little bit more awkward, I think, to tell somebody one on one than to tell like an anonymous room full of people. But also know about the kids, know funny stories about the kids. I tweet funny stories about the kids, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that I don't even tell my brother, so like, it's kind of weird to think about that so many people know so many details about us and about our life and our past and stuff like that, our relationship, our family, our kids.
I wonder if it's a mistake sometimes, but I feel like you're still a person no matter what, and these things are going to come bursting out of you. If it's a question, you don't have to answer it, but with stories like the kids and everything, it's like, okay, well, this funny thing that Finn did today, I want to tell somebody, but it also is links to this idea that I feel more and more lately, and I feel like it's affecting more and more people, and I really do hate this, is that it's not real unless you tweet about it. It's not real unless you post on Twitter and you get some likes. It's not real unless it's out into the collective, collected conscious or subconscious that's out there. I don't feel that way about everything that happens, but I feel like this is something that more and more people are having.
Yeah, but when I post something funny, it's not that I felt like I have to tell everybody. It's just that I feel like they like it.
Yeah, but did you go on vacation? Well, it's not your vacation isn't all that real until you go home and post all your vacation pics on Facebook and Twitter and you get some likes on it, that sort of thing. I'm not saying that we do that, but I feel that draw sometimes of like, okay, well, I've just been playing Death Stranding. I have opinions on it, and my opinions aren't fully out there, and it's not complete until I've done a tweet about what I think about it. You know what I mean? Like same with Code Vein, that sort of thing. But I think more and more people are doing that with their own like lives, and I think it's kind of gross. I don't think it's gross that the people are doing it. I think it's gross that our society has kind of gotten to us to this point, and I feel like we're not. It's done. Like, this is how it is now. There's no going back to the other way, and we're gonna have generations that, unless something absolutely like, there's this huge upheaval that occurs in the next like 10 years or so that outs social media as like the devil. I think this is just how it is.
I see that a lot with personal relationships. I log into Facebook not that often anymore now, and I'll log on and it'll be like I have like 25 missed messages, and it's not like messages to me. It's just like people have updated stuff, and it shows up as like a missed message as an update, and it's just pictures of their kids over and over and over again, and sometimes it's like 5 or 7 or 8 messages or pictures I'm seeing from the same people every single day that I'm on there, which is why I don't go on as much anymore, because I'm bored of it now. But I never share any pictures or little anecdotes about the kids. Like maybe once a year I'll say, oh, it was their birthday or something, but like even then, not always. And so I know I'm the unusual one in that most people are doing this now, but I still find it kind of strange that, there's this much of it. Like I understand every once in a while, but I don't need to see like your whole day, like updates of what you fed them and where you went to the park. And like I can tell you exactly what you did today because you showed me. And I just, I think in a way it's weird. I'm more private in my personal life than I am in my public life. It's kind of backward, maybe, that.
No, I'm the same way. Yeah, we're both the same like that.
But I think we juggle it okay.
We juggle it okay. It's very surreal. There's a part of it that one day we'll talk about that we just can't talk about right now. There's something I'm holding back right now that it's not really that exciting, but there's a side of this that I can't say at the moment for reasons that will be clear when I do finally speak about it in like a year or two from now. But yeah, there's it can get difficult to juggle, but I think we handle it okay. The money side of it is also kind of weird too. Like we both come from pretty much nothing. We were like below the poverty line in Canada for years, and going from that to what we have now is just like what the shit. It's just incredible. We never thought we'd get a house. We never thought we'd be able to have kids even. Like there's a lot of things like that. But I sense that's probably not what you're asking. We've spoken about that before on other streams, like other Q&As. But that is part of it. I would be like disingenuous not to bring that up.
But yeah, I just feel like we have a good routine with it. I do my thing, you do your thing. We come together on nights at weird hours to answer questions for people we don't know.
I would say the biggest problem I have is that I like, again, this is repeating from the last question. I have an unhealthy relationship with work, and sometimes I wonder if, like we were speaking about addiction earlier, that it's addicted to World of Warcraft. I sometimes wonder if I just replace that addiction with work. I'm now addicted to work. It's just how much can I possibly do? But out of addictions, that's again not a bad one to have. Especially considering that the job might not last forever, and you should get the time in while you can. And I'm also not getting any younger, like literally this week. But yeah, there are lots of things I would like to do, and I'm a firm believer that that people don't change unless there are big events. And like some of those big events are like having a kid, or death of a parent, having a big illness, or having like a death scare, being in an accident. Sometimes it can come out of nowhere. It can be like reading the right book or something, or like it can be
someone says something that just clicks.
Yeah, it can be like that. But I'm a firm believer that most people don't change ever without something like that happening. And one of the things that reliably changes people is at the tens number in their age going up by 1. So when you're a teenager and you turn 20, it's like, whoa, okay, fuck, I'm 20 now. Like I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm an adult. What am I gonna do? And your 20s are usually just kind of a mess, and then you hit your 30s and it's like, whoa, okay, wow, now I'm 30. It might be until you're 21 or 22 or 31 or 32, but it's like those are the big ones where people change. And I feel like when I became 30, it was like a big huge wake up. Like, okay, if you want to do these things, then as Britney Spears says, you better work, bitch. Like you have to do it.
With Finn being born too.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Finn was born a few months before you turned 30.
Okay, I think that's all I can say. Sorry, that was a bit of repetition there. Firebug, what was the second part of Firebug's question?
Joe, what kind of games do you like playing? What genres and what aspects are the highest priority for you? I personally am a sucker for story, no matter if gameplay is amazing or trash, and I enjoy puzzle or adventure games. We don't deserve you guys. Love the content and community interaction. Take it easy, Joe, and good wishes, Lily.
Oh, thanks, Firebug. I think this will be the last one because this is a good place to lead off with that, and we're already over time. Thank you, Firebug. I'm pretty much the opposite. I prefer gameplay first, and I'm willing to stomach a bad story for the sake of gameplay quite easily. I feel like I do it all the time. Am I willing to stomach bad gameplay for the sake of a good story? I would say less so, but of course I am willing to do it. But it can be a real slog. Whereas you can skip through most of the story. Usually the story plays, without any input from you. You can, if you can't skip through it, or you can just kind of just vegetate and passively experience it. Whereas gameplay is active, and if it's horrible, then you might end up having to deliver a bunch of boxes to a different bunch of the places all around the map. So I think I in general prefer gameplay, but I wasn't always like that. I used to prefer stories, and I was really interested in stories in games way more than gameplay, for sure. There's someone that talks later about Dark Souls and why they think Dark Souls is so important. And Dark Souls was so important to me because, and that's why I talk about it so much, is because that was the game that kind of pulled me back from that. That I was like, oh, okay. It hit me in the right place at the right time, that I was getting kind of fed up with a bunch of shit stories in games. And then there was this game that came along and it was like, okay, the story's in your face and the gameplay's really, really good. And it felt like playing one of the old Nintendo games I used to play. It's like, oh man, where have I been? And also getting rid of the World of Warcraft addiction at the same time. So it was like a perfect storm of why that game is so like important to me. And I think it's the same for quite a lot of people, or it's similar in at least some ways, but not all of them. But that's getting ahead of ourselves here. Really, the question shit. I think the genre that I prefer the most is the action kind of melee combat genre. Although I do have to admit that Control is getting to the place where I need a third-person shooter to be. If Control had more projectiles that you could dodge, and the combat wasn't so spammy, like shoot your weapon, oh now you're reloading, okay, use your psychic juice, okay now the psychic juice is gone, okay, shoot your weapon. If it was more methodical in how its combat is put together, and maybe it is on hard mode, I don't know, then I think it would be like much better and much closer where I think a third person could be to be really, really compelling. But shooters like Doom, there needs to be something on both sides. I'm not really interested in games anymore that are all defensive or all offensive, like especially if all offensive means that you're going to take unavoidable damage and you have to just have like regenerating health to fill in that gap. I still think that can work depending on how the game is put together. Of course, I think almost anything can work depending on how it's put together. It's kind of like one of those things that you can say to get out of criticism free cards. But in general, I would say I am more interested in games that will allow me to have many options to prevent myself from taking damage or to avoid taking damage entirely, while also having many options to deal damage back at the enemy, and to, the thing I like to say lately is express yourself through the mechanics. I want to be able to really push myself and have a lot of fun with those kind of combat systems. For stories, for genres specifically, mostly shooters and like melee action games are what I'm interested in for that. But I do have a soft spot for stuff like Civilization and Galactic Civ 2. And if I wasn't working on the Big Witcher video right now, in my spare time, the game I would be playing the most is probably Stellaris. I would be trying to get into Stellaris. Maybe I would be like bugging Mandalore to try playing that with me, because it's been a while since I got into a 4X game, but I'm also interested in games like Neo Scavenger and like Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead that we said earlier. I feel like that my tastes in video games are quite broad, and maybe they're too broad, and maybe I should work on focusing a little bit more on certain genres and stuff. But what?
I've never seen a giant mushroom. Sorry.
Never?
I haven't had one on mine yet. Or if it's there, it's buried in trees. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you have a lot of trees in your yard. Wow,
I was like, what the hell is that? And then it broke into all these little mushrooms.
Yeah, they're rare event things in the game. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so it's fine. So yeah, that's I'm interested in complex gameplay systems with a real sharp focus on end game content. So again, this game, we can pull it to this game. This game's biggest problem for me is the lack of end game content, and it has a ton of content. It doesn't need more to be worth the price tag, but again, we're judging games as art. I would like to see way more end game stuff in this game, and to have like almost half as much content again at the end game for you to explore with a farm that's fully operational. And the updates that this game have gotten, I don't think are there or are not there enough. Yeah, so. For stories, again, it's like a shitty thing to say, but almost anything as long as it's good, you know. I'll like horror stories, sci-fi stories, fantasy stories, stories about a betrayal, you know, it's just anything as long as it's told well and it's interesting. Like I'm pretty much a story slut. I'll go in for anything really. I would say that my favorite kind of stories are probably mysteries, but I think that almost all writing is mystery writing. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it was something that struck me when I was, I think, 20 or so, when I was reading Harry Potter for the first time, because everyone was fussing all over it. And I was like, oh, you know what? I should finally get around to reading Harry Potter. And I was reading it and I'm like, this is a mystery book, you know? Like, and then I started seeing more and more mystery books all the time. And it's like more mystery kind of storytelling in books all the time. I'm like, yeah, like, the fundamental story of most, or the structure of most entertaining books is that they're mysteries, and even in some literary fiction, it's mystery, you know, like the core of what the hell is going on here. So it's like, yeah, I don't think that's like the greatest epiphany in the world. It's not like worth a shit or anything, but like it was like oh yeah, you know, that's something I noticed fairly early on in my life, and I was like, oh shit. So I think mysteries are also what I enjoy the most, and I like puzzles, so. Yeah, let's go with that. What kind of genres do you like the most, Lily?
Just in general?
Yeah.
Mystery and thriller, I guess. If we're talking like books or something, because I guess it would probably be the same in a video game, but I don't know. If we're talking stories, then yeah.
Do you like Thriller by Michael Jackson?
I do.
You do? I think the genre I'd like to see more of is the immersive sim. I wish we would have more like that. I wish we had more games like Prey and Deus Ex. And I wish we had more creative open world games like Breath of the Wild. But that is a tough thing to ask for developers to do, I think. But yeah, that's what I would like to see more.
I think I tend to like more what I try to contribute, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that I would get an idea to write about would be something that I would want to see, you know?
Oh no, we're getting raided. We're just about to end. I'm sorry, raiders. Maybe we'll pick someone to raid from ours, and then we'll pass the raid along. I'm sorry, too soon, Boone. We're just about to wrap this up. And it's a Q&A stream too, sorry. Should we make it nefarious? It's too late for you, raiders. I have the high ground. Before we go, thank you. Actually, Cave 100 bits. Danganronpa, how he did it. He took the longest... Oh my god. We're going to read this after people come here and they don't have context. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a pound. He took the longest dildo he had and lured someone into his studio, or rather her studio, and then strangled them. She used that to convince people that the only person who could have done it is the person with the large hands in the group, as she has very petite hands. She also used a very fat dildo to fool the audio surveillance. I'm so sorry. To fool the audience surveillance system the group had installed just outside the dorms, making the footsteps sound like the footsteps of a fairly large person. Wow, Action Caterer, your sister did that on your birthday? Holy shit, man. That's some crazy shit.
All in the family.
I'm glad she's in prison. Has your mom forgiven her yet? Like, holy fuck. Holy shit, man. That's some wacky shit. All right, who should we raid? We don't usually raid, but let's pass the raid along to someone. Does anyone have a raid candidate? Raid Odo? Okay, you know what we usually do? Is anyone playing Danganronpa?
Oh, that's nice. I never remember. Incoates?
Incoettes.
Incoettes? I'm sorry, I never remember. Should make a note of it somewhere. Can't read all of it because Joe's blocking half of it, but it looks nice.
Find someone with one view. No, I feel like I think that's lame. I think when you send a lot of people to someone who's that small, I think that can be really bad. I think the lowest I'll send a raid to is like 50 to 100 people. I think that can backfire hard.
You're welcome, Firebug. Sorry it wasn't better. I feel like it was a little bit kind of all over the place, but hopefully you kind of extracted some good out of it.
Okay, someone just recommended to raid Odo. Odo has 28 people. That's a little low. Do you know this person? Who suggested it? Squirrely Man, do you know this person? Clint Stevens? If that's who I think it is. I don't like Clint Stevens. YouTube drama. We're starting it. Oh, Twitch drama, sorry.
And thanks to you too, Runegamer. Runegamer or Runegamer?
Cryotic has 2.7 like 100. Like that's not even gonna make a dent. They're not even gonna notice. Not personally, no. I just like his content a lot. You're probably right. That he's small though. 25 people is a hell of a lot more than like 5. So okay, we'll raid Odo, and if it goes really bad, then we won't do it again. Let's see. How do I do this? It's been so long since I did a raid. I think you go through creator dashboard, don't you? But you were addicted. Oh, I think it's actually a Twitch raid command, isn't it? Type raid followed by the name of the channel you want to raid, e.g. raid Twitch presents to raid the Twitch presents channel. Okay, here we go. All right, so hopefully this is it. No, it's gonna do it automatically. So we're gonna raid Odo. All right, so see you guys later. Thank you very much for stopping by, and we'll see you next Friday or Saturday. Maybe it should be Saturday. We'll see. Hopefully this works, and yeah, see you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Raider raid. 5, 4, 3. Good night, everyone. 2, 1.